Media, and this is Plan in Traffic. We do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and we talk cars, boats, anything you put gas in, we talk about it. I want to start tonight out with a moment of silence for our troops and the Americans that are trapped overseas. My prayers goes out to them and all their families, and I just pray that things get straightened out over there. So we can take a minute.
Good idea.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's hard to talk about anything else, but we just gotta keep prayers out for everybody.
I need a diversion.
Yeah.
I spent the last hour and a half watching Fox News. You can just imagine what my blood pressure is like.
Yeah, it was on upstairs too. I saw some of that, what was going on, and it's funny because, not funny, nothing's funny, but when I was down in North Carolina, one of the guys I spent some time with, who may be watching the show tonight, the man is a Marine, and he was a police officer here on Long Island. And even though that was years ago, he still keeps very active in the circles, and he has a lot of thoughts. And we had a lot of deep conversations about this stuff. And it's just I can't even say it's amazing anymore, because it's not. When you talk to the right people, you know the response you're going to get. And what's going to happen how's this going to stop? How's it going to break? John, I don't want to get you started. Jeez.
Yeah. Don't start, John. What's going on with your car, John? The car's looking good back there. What do you do?
Got
great taillights.
Well, I just closed the deck lid. Hey, guess what? The window fits.
I see.
Yeah.
I guess my body guy kind of knew what he was doing.
Good. Yeah, right. That's always good.
It's just laying there. The front frame is out. Pulled it out of the car. I cut off all of the scuzz from the prior owner.
Oh, yeah, I saw those pictures. Yuck.
Yeah. Thank God for my plasma cutter. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
There was two pieces of 2-inch by 4-inch by 1/4-inch wall tubing. That was what he used as subframe connectors. In other words, to connect the front frame to the back frame.
Right.
And they were welded to the inside of the frame rail. And whatever he could get to, he did on the top. And then he welded the front. The thing was wide open still. It was still a hollow tube. And he welded the bottom laying on his back. So 3 horrible beads with a MIG welder that I believe he was probably using a MIG welder that was set up for body work. Because I could tell that the wire that was being used was way thin. It was
made for 31 or something.
Yeah, it was not made for what he did. But
no, not for plate. No.
So with the plasma cutter, I was able to cut the tube at the top and cut it at the bottom, which left a plate. Then I was able to take an angle cut, like what I would, I believe they would call it a scarf cut, and slide the plasma cutter along the frame rail that I'm keeping, but cut diagonally into the weld that was there and the material, and then start with the grinder. And I have these grinding discs. Well, you've seen these before.
Yeah,
but these are 40 grit.
Yeah,
they're from Norton. They're called Red Heat.
Real aggressive, huh?
Right.
40 grit. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
On a 4.5-inch grinder, this thing cuts metal. So I was able to, just kind of go back and forth. And in an area where there was a gap, I put a large screwdriver and I just kind of kept prying until finally the plate went pop.
Yeah.
And I flipped the frame over, did the same on the bottom, knocked that piece off, and then it was a matter of just getting rid of whatever weld was left and smoothing it out. So that worked out good. There was about a 10-pound pile of metal shavings all over the floor from grinding. I was like, ay.
Garbage men must love you.
Yeah. I scooped that stuff all up. I put it right in a pail. It's not my problem. Now I have some holes I have to patch.
Yeah.
The chassis, this car being a 1981 originally, General Motors never put a turbo 400 in it back in 81. Actually, probably prior to that, they were using what, the 200?
200 R4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, metric 200.
And this car, the VIN number says that this car was a Buick V6
Okay.
in it.
Yeah.
So that would have been a 200.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the chassis only has crossmember holes to suit that turbo, that small, 200 tranny. 400, bigger, bulkier, larger crossmember further back. He didn't bother to do it properly. He just kind of got it where it went and used the torch and cut a couple of holes in the bottom.
Oh,
my
God.
goodness.
And there was one bolt. The crossmember bolts in with 4 bolts. There was one bolt on each side, and when you stand perpendicular to the frame, the driver's side of the crossmember was further forward than the passenger side.
Some guys watch Monster Garage and they think they can get away with anything,
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, by the way, Terry said his episode of Monster Garage was on Monday, but it was not. They were
No.
building a boat with a 454 in it or
Oh,
something.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A sailboat with a 454 in it.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
So this weekend I'm going to do the patchwork. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the frame back in the car, and I'm going to put the engine and transmission in with the headers that came with it so I can determine exactly where the motor should be.
Yeah.
And get that set up. And I'm going to modify the crossmember. Instead of having it slide up above the frame rail and then 2 bolts going this way, I'm going to cut the crossmember, and I'll weld some tabs to the inside of the frame rail.
Nice.
Put a piece of heavy tubing, so you just use like a 2.5-inch long bolt through the 2 tabs through the tube, so you can just pull the bolts to get the crossmember out of the car. Because from experience, these crossmembers are a pain in the neck. They're actually touching the floor.
Yeah.
You pop those bolts, and then you got to jiggle them around in order to get them out of the car. So. I'm going to eliminate that issue.
Good idea.
Yeah, and then it's going to go to the powder coater.
Brian's having a hard time getting in. I'm sorry. Brian's having a hard time getting in again, Scott.
Hard time last week, too.
Yeah, I had to do some crazy stuff to get in tonight.
I don't know what's going on, man. I'm going to have to call him and see.
The link is a weird link that you can't just click on playing in traffic. It wants you to log into your account, and it wants you to add the show to your channels.
Yeah.
So you got to do that, and then when it gets to the channels, what channels do you want to add it to? You just click the X.
Right.
And then you can just enter in. So it's sending us through a couple of other steps or something like that. It's weird.
Let me
Yeah.
Now I have my password to this saved. So when it gets to that login screen, the info's already there, but it was kind of holding me there, saying, please put us on other channels, on your other channels. And it's like, I'm not a media influencer. I don't have channels.
yeah.
Which, come to find out, that's a job now.
My daughter is an influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
This
scrolling
is
through
what
Facebook this morning.
Brian is seeing. He's seeing a page like this. That's he just took a screenshot.
Yeah.
So let me see. Last week I was able to send him a link, but God knows if I remember where the hell I found it. It was probably something about invite guests. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I think. Hold on, I'm gonna send it to him right now.
Okay.
Can't he just go to the page for the program? And
Yeah,
then type in plane and traffic.
Yeah. You can go to Restream and type in plan and traffic, and it should bring up all the shows, and it should have this one at the top.
Brian.
You guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, I mean Brian and Scott.
Everyone else. No, I don't think they can. Oh, unless hopefully they're watching on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So there'll be a time delay on that one.
Let's see. I think I figured out how I did it last time, which is amazing. All right.
Yeah, I just put the link in Facebook.
Just emailed you an ink. Okay. I just sent him a link too, so maybe one of them will work for him.
All right.
So I was scrolling through some stuff on Facebook this morning before I went to work, and up came it's these pages that I hate because it's got some sort of subject matter that you may be interested in. But then when you click on it, as you're scrolling, there's like a bazillion pop-ups and ads and all kinds of crap on the sides of it.
Yeah.
But it was about
Clickbait.
Yeah. It was one of these things where it was a whole bunch of NASCAR wives and girlfriends and the hoops they need to jump through.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they were, in other words, things that NASCAR wants them to do or how they need to act.
Right.
But almost every one of these women, wives and girlfriends, under the description of what they do, if they don't own some type of like charity organization or some line of custom clothes or handbags, they're listed as social media influencers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? That's a job?
Oh yeah.
You posting and having a bunch of idiots read your crap?
Listen, they got
That's a job.
classes.
John, I'll tell you something. It is because, like I said, my daughter is not a top tier influencer, but they send her products. I mean, I get mail every day for her, and it's like cosmetics or soaps or shampoos because that's what she does. And she takes photographs, sets it, stages it.
Yeah.
She does, and then posts it and blasts it. And they'll start paying her for doing that.
Nobody sends me anything but bills.
Right. There's
What's up, guys?
I met a girl up in Canada at one of the car shows, and she's an influencer, and they fly her all over the world to do product reviews and all kind of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
How
she's
many
a big
people
dog.
got to be following you to be considered that?
Oh, she has a lot. Probably
There's tiers.
a couple 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, you look at the big dogs, and they have a lot of followers.
Well, the top guy is The Rock. He's one of he's one of the top ones. There's like a couple more stars that are top, and they're getting endorsements like crazy.
I think right under him is Brian. Naco Man is like number 2. He's
Yep.
trying. He's trying for number 1, but he keeps falling short. So we got to push him over the top.
Push me over the top, boys.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Scott?
Johnny.
So, Scott.
How are you? Hey, John, you sent your weather up here. It was 95 degrees today. It was friggin' awful. I can use your pool. I can use your pool about right now.
You know, my pool's been filling for 2 days now. It's still not full.
How many gallons?
You didn't.
About 33,000.
I don't want to see that water bill.
You didn't get the fire hydrant hose, huh?
No, I'm not looking forward to the bill, but the
That's
city gives you a form, and they come and they read your meter before you fill, and then they read the meter after.
Ooh.
So we'll
You know, I had to go, and a good friend asked me if I would put an alternator on his wife's car today. So I'm like, all right. You got shade? He's like, yeah, I got shade. I'm like, all right. So I went out there and I did it. Brought all my tools. You got to bring everything that you think you don't need. Of course, I left the house and didn't bring one freaking light, which I was going to bring 3 or 4 of them. Luckily, I didn't need them. But get home and it's like you're just a sticky mess. So it's like chlorine bath.
Oh yeah,
That's it, man. It's the great neutralizer.
unreal.
All right, here she is, Cherry Dollface. She has 190,000 followers.
Wow.
Damn, they fly her around the country?
All over. I mean,
Ridiculous.
yeah, she's been to Paris, like all over the place. She does makeup reviews, clothes, all kind of stuff like that. And she's the big dog.
Right.
I post stuff on both of these cars on Facebook, and I get tons of people watching, looking at it, liking it, making comments, the whole deal. I put a video on YouTube over a year ago on the black car. I think it's got 600 views in a year.
Yeah.
I think I watched 459 of those.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And I'm not allowed to go live. I'm still
in doghouse.
They still got their hand around my neck. Yeah. I think I got about another 10 or 12 days
Wow.
before I could go live. But they can't stop me from making a video and posting it, assholes.
Right.
But I'll tell you what the weird part is, because they're completely screwed up, or they must be watching me like there's no tomorrow. Every time I get a notification of somebody going live and I click on it to see them live, I get a little info thing shows up on my screen, says you are not allowed to go live.
Really?
And then it says accept the decision or not. And every time I click I don't accept the decision, I get a little message that says thank you, we'll take it under advisement.
So
or
how
something.
do you get on here? How do you get on this? How do you get on this link? Oh
Well,
wait,
this
this
is
is
Facebook.
YouTube. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah.
This is not in Facebook.
Yeah.
I was just thinking
So
all
it's
inclusive.
not like I'm looking to go live. I'm looking to watch one of the people I follow.
Right.
And they instantly, when I go to watch them, like yesterday I wanted to watch Wes Buck,
Yeah.
the drag race guy. And I click on it and I get that message like, you're a bad boy. You can't go live.
Try
So
watching.
I
try
always
watching,
click I disagree with their decision. And then the screen clears and then I can watch whatever I'm watching live. It's like,
try
really?
watching Buck Adams. See if they let you do that. They may. They'll flag you with Ron Jeremy. They'll put you right in jail with him.
Whoa!
Oh, God.
Hey, John, what are you undercoating your frame and stuff? What are you painting it with? Anything special?
Well, the frame I'm going to paint. Well, the front frame's getting powder coated.
Or is it-
The back frame I'm just going to paint with an epoxy paint.
Mhm.
But the sheet metal I'm going to do with that stuff we talked about a couple of weeks ago from that bed liner stuff
Mhm.
from U-Pole.
Right.
Okay.
What is that stuff called? Gator or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You looked it up. You were like, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm on the poor end of the block.
Yeah, but for what I'm doing, one bottle will do everything I need to do. Well, maybe 2 bottles, because
Yeah.
once I do all my sheet metal flooring, I'm gonna, because we did this in the Camaro that I finished. Before I put the air conditioning unit in for the final time, and I did it with his car, I used that bed liner spray and sprayed the firewall on the inside of the car and the whole floor of the car, besides the trunk.
And Dynamat?
I'll probably Dynamat to make it a little quieter and keep some of the heat out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to use that bed liner stuff is amazing.
Yeah. I had the
Goes-
guys
it
at the
just
body
goes
shop.
on
do,
so nice.
I had those guys use. I think I don't know if it was Rhino liner, but it was done in the finest setting, so it really just looks like not even
Looks like-
sand paint.
Yeah, it
not
looks
lizard
like a
skin?
black
It's
paint with
lizard
a
skin.
grit. Yeah.
Yeah, they did the whole
Well,
bottom of the
good
car.
thing
in that.
is all you got to do is adjust the air pressure on the gun
Yeah.
and spray out, and you get all different textures.
Right.
The more air pressure you use, the rougher it is. The less, the finer it is. You could actually get it to the point where it comes out like black paint.
That's kind of almost what they did for me. It was it's like a little bit of a texture to it. Mostly,
Yeah.
it just looks like a black paint.
Right. I did it with I'm going to say heavy orange peel,
Okay.
which makes that bottle go pretty far,
Yeah.
you know? And I did the whole underneath of the Camaro from firewall to bumper, and then the whole inside of the car, trunk area,
Right.
rear floor, backside of the firewall. I did it all. So I'll do the same with this, except the interior It's only going to go like to the back of the doors because everything else is tin work and it's going to get
Aluminum, yeah.
carpeted anyway.
Yeah.
But the bottom I'm going to do, I'll do the inside of the wheel tubs, the parts of the trunk floor that come down underneath the batteries and under the fuel cell. I want to spray all of that with that stuff because you spray it once and it's done. I never have to worry about it. The worst thing about a drag style car on the street is your tin work turns to crap.
Yeah.
Burnouts, the rubber sticks to it.
Right.
Drive on a road, you hit a puddle, that aluminum gets that road crud on it, and it's a horror show to get it off.
Yeah.
And if you have any kind of finish on the aluminum, you just destroy it. So I'd rather not bother with that and bedliner it. And it
With
just
that
it
material,
gives it just a nice uniform finish.
how is it because I had to go through this with my own car. If you want to, hook up a ground wire somewhere, how is it to remove
Oh
enough?
yeah, you can grind through it.
Use a cookie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can
well,
grind
they
through it.
get gold up pretty quick.
I
use
use they're like
Roto
this big.
disc.
Yeah, right. The 3M Rolox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use
like
like
a-
an 80
like-
grit or use it. Try
Yeah,
it.
I use 60 grit, and it just.
I actually
right
with that
through.
I use the ones that green and they're made for resurfacing brake rotors. That cuts it right off.
Yeah.
Right
Either
off.
that, or what you could do, like if you had like a grounding stud or something like that, or a insert, a threaded
Right.
insert,
Right.
just tape over it.
Sure. Yeah, true.
There were areas on the Camaro where I didn't want this stuff to go,
Right.
and I masked it off like I was painting a car. You spray the stuff, and as it tacks up, peel the tape,
Right.
and you get a crisp line.
Ugh.
Done. So it's
Some
easy,
new grounds.
It's as easy to work with as paint,
I added new grounds to the tool truck, and I just used my thread setter.
Yeah.
It had a bolt and nut that went through, and the corrosion. Instead, I just drilled it out with the right side, and then just used a thread setter. Put a thread setter in, and
Yep.
it was a whole hell of a lot better and cleaner.
Did you
That's
use a
what I
hyper
did.
step?
That's what I did all over the Camaro.
Huh?
Did you use a hyper step drill bit?
Actually, we have it's a hyper step drill bit, but it's actually cut to the shapes for the nut inserts.
You are so spoiled. I want you
Hey,
to know.
when you're the tool guy, why don't you pick up the phone and order it?
I'm working at my friend's house today, and I said to him, it's all handwork. It's just an alternator. I said, here's where I could use a freaking battery-powered ratchet. He goes, whoa, because he listens to the show and he knows what I do. And he says, wow, what do all the tool guys, the Matco guy and the Snap-on guy. He's like, why don't you have that stuff? I said, I'm waiting for the right deal. I said, don't get me wrong. I said, the stuff's expensive. I said, so I'm waiting for the deal. I said, it's been a ways coming, but I said, that's all right. It'll happen. So he's like,
It will.
He's like, well, you know everybody. You should have this stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure, I could have it if I wanted, but waiting for the deal.
I had to take my nutsert box and start drilling and testing and drilling and testing, and then write it down on the label for the different sizes. And some of them, to make it really nice, it's a letter drill.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Other ones, it's just a fraction drill.
I think
Most of them
ones-
are actually most of them are letter drills.
Yeah,
I think,
'cause
I
you
seem to
don't want it
remember
to be
using-
sloppy.
I seem to remember using 29/64 a lot.
I think 29/64 is for 3/8. No,
Could
sir.
be.
Yeah.
I seem
Yeah.
to remember you, and it's actually for one of the metric sizes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually took the drill bit and put it in the kit, so I didn't have to go and find it. I just put a separate drill bit in the kit.
I just wrote with a magic marker over each of the different sizes that's in my kit.
Yeah.
Which is the final bit.
Right.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
But I like to do on race cars, on this car, I like to do ground studs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that on the bus too.
And the best way to do a ground stud is you go to the speed shop and you go get a set of Mr. Gasket header bolts for
Right.
Stainless
like a big
steel.
block Chevy. No,
Not
that's
stainless.
steel.
Not
No.
stainless.
Really?
You buy them.
No.
They're black oxide.
Right.
It's a 3/8 coarse thread, and they come in different lengths depending on the motor that you're using them on.
3/8/16.
It's got a 7/16 head,
Right.
like a washer face. So when you tighten the header, it really pushes the flange into the motor.
Yeah.
But that 7/16 head works perfect because you just drill into the frame to the point where the head will drop in, and now you've got this flange sitting there,
Right.
and then you weld around that flange. So what I do is with the TIG welder, I just turn up the heat and I just melt it. You just go right around. You don't add any filler rod.
That's a
And
great
you just-
idea. I never
Yeah,
thought of that.
you just flow that washer face into
Yeah.
the base metal.
It's a great idea.
And now you've got a beautiful 3/8 stud that could be, some of them are 7/16 in length, some are 1/2 inch, some are 9/16. You can find some big ones,
Yeah, you can
depending
find
on the
some more
heads. Yeah. And they make
Good idea.
great grounding studs, awesome grounding studs.
That's a
And
good,
now
great idea.
it's part of the frame.
Right.
So as long as you keep that bolt in good shape,
Clean.
you
As
got
long as
nothing
it
to
doesn't
worry
break
about.
off.
Yeah, ain't gonna break over.
I've never had one of those break. They're grade 8 bolts.
I'll show you a few guys on my route.
Well,
If you want super strength, you go to ARP.
right,
Yeah.
right.
ARP's real high tensile strength bolts. A lot of money, but they're well worth it. So
Hey, Brian. So I got a question for you.
Yep.
So
It better be good, Scott.
have you seen the Snap-on battery tester thing?
Yeah.
All right. So I've used it, at the shop, we do remote starters, and you get customers, oh, my battery's been going dead since you put the starter in. And, most of the time, like the Honda CRVs were common. They got those tiny little batteries. Every time we test, they were always junk batteries. It
Stop.
wasn't the remote starter. It's
Now,
just junk battery.
before you go any further, you have to clarify the statement with saying it's the Sinju syndrome. Since you put the remote starter in, my battery goes dead. So what do you do? Now we can go forward. Okay.
So anyway, I've been using this. I bought this like 2 years ago, and I kept it in my toolbox. So when I have a problem with a customer, but I swear it's not consistent. So for instance, my girlfriend's car, it's a 15 Charger, a 730 cold crank battery. I put it in there, and it comes back saying 750 at 102%. The battery can't be 102%. It's 7 years old. So I'm at this point where this thing is a piece of junk, and it's not correct.
you need a Matco.
So does
I was gonna say, dude.
does Matco actually make? And I'm almost at this point. Should I just buy an old school load tester where you squeeze the trigger and you get the heating element? And if the battery falls on its face, it's junk instead of these new. I mean, how do these things even work if they're not putting load? I don't get it.
They gotta
All right,
be put a load.
while you're ruminating, I'll tell you this, Scott. I brought my load tester with me today to check this guy's battery because I didn't know if it was bad. But the new school of thought is not to use a carbon pile load tester. It's to check the capacitance of the battery. And there's special testers. Some batteries on newer cars actually have a little cell in the battery cable that's the capacitance feedback device with you. There's a name for it. I don't remember what it is. And that's how the new testers work. They put like an inductive load and check capacitive resistance, which sounds like an oxymoron, but leave it to the engineers.
So I'm in the market of buying one. I know Artel makes one that's like $200. You connect to your phone, but it doesn't do certain things. Then they make a $500 one, but I don't really want to spend $500. And Mac has one that looks just like the Solar brand. So Solar is obviously making it for Mac, and I didn't know what you guys had.
Well, we have that, or we have the one that a lot of manufacturers, factory manufacture, is was it Motronics? Is that what it is, Motronics?
Something like that. My buddy works a Mazda dealer, and that's what they use. Something like what you
Yeah,
just said.
it's like Motronics or whatever, and they make all the factory stuff, and they make a lot of stuff for like, that big Interstate one. Like if you get the Interstate batteries, they give you that tester. That's all made by that Medtronics company, and that's what I try to sell. The Solon one or whatever, that Mac one, we carry that, That's kind of finicky. And 99% of the time with all this, it's the connections to the battery with that tool. And I went round and round with a guy Wednesday, and he actually, the alligator clip, part of the had one cable coming in, and the cable that was bolted was slightly melted on the end.
So it wasn't accurate.
So it wasn't accurate because it was actually heating up. You can actually feel the heat because the little spring clamp for the alligator clamp that connects to the other side was the ground, or that was the what it was going through. And of course,
it's making resistance.
It was getting all kinds of funny readings.
You know, the good alligator clamps have a wire that connects both halves of the jaw.
Right.
Not all do.
The only problem is if you want something really, I mean, you're going to spend $1,200.
Yeah, I only spend like maybe up to a couple $100.
Yeah.
I'm not using it all the time, you know.
Yeah, I know. And personally, I would go back and I get laughed at because when somebody says they want a load tester for a battery, I walk in with the old toaster oven.
Right.
Can you
And
hurt
they look
anything
at
using
me.
it? Can you hurt anything using it?
I don't think so.
So go back to old school and call it a day.
As long
For
as
$100, like I said, you know, I tell most guys, it says 15 seconds. I tell them 10 seconds. And, you know, it'll last because most guys will hold it until it turns cherry red, starts to melt.
it's because they want to cook their hot dogs. But, you know,
Yeah.
the Snap-on VAT 20s, that was like the tester, the best tester of the day. It just had the same carbon pile load tester in it. You just turned the knob to load it. And, you know, it was the mainstay.
They make a square box like the old VAT 40, but do it, and it's got a dial on it.
I saw one of those, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing you want to watch out for, because you can get them at Harbor Freight, and like I said, you can get them from all the tool trucks. They no longer have that spring on the handle when you let off because of the cost. So if somebody cranks that thing up and you go to hook it up on a battery, you can have a problem.
Yeah,
Well,
you want
wanna
to be
make sure.
default off. Yeah.
You want to make sure it is off if you get that. But personally, I still have them. I still have a toaster oven.
Yeah.
The old toaster, and they make that version also in a digital if you want to look high tech.
I think mine is made by Milton.
Yeah, Milton. It's been around forever, and
Right.
I'll tell you, when the battery's bad, the battery's bad.
Right. You know, case in point, I'm going to tell a story on Sunday. You know, I was away for 2 weeks. You know, you don't drive a car. The computers turn on, and they cycle when the car is off. So I was wondering if my FJ was going to start when I got home, and it did. But the next day, I put in a dual USB port in the dash, and it just connects to the fuse box and to a ground. You couldn't be any simpler. So I go in the house. We come out about an hour and a half later. We're going to go to dinner. I hit the key. It was like, click, 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 click. Like, what? What the hell happened here? So I got my jump battery. I hook it up. Boom, fires up. I disconnect the USB port, even though there's nothing on it. So it's really not drawing any load.
Well, did you have a constant power or accessory?
What's that?
Did you have a constant power or accessory?
At first, I had it on constant power.
That's a no-no because it's converting to 5 volts.
Yeah,
so it's making a circuit. It's drawing to change it.
I'm glad I did that though, and I'll tell you why. Because I disconnected it, and the next day I said, "Let me check and see what's going on." And, you know, the truck started, and then I'm looking at the gauge like the alternator's charging. So I put the scan tool on. I verified it. I used my fluke meter, and when I shut the car off, I saw the voltage drop a couple of tenths. I'm like, I think the battery has a problem. Now I put that battery in December. And it's a 5-year Megatron Interstate battery. I bought the best one I could get because I'm keeping the thing. So I go back to the Interstate guy in Freeport, drive up to him and said, "Look, I think we got a problem. Can you load test this?" He goes, "Yeah, bring it in." So I take it out. I bring it in. He uses his big machine. He goes, and he just goes in the back and comes back with a new battery. I said, he goes, "Yeah, it's bad." I'm like, Okay, cool. Can you tell me why? It's like, why? It's been in the car for 8 months.
Because made in China.
Because it's interstate.
The same thing happened with Delco a few years ago. The same thing happened
I
with.
used to use interstate batteries forever for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm liking the
no.
Napa Legend batteries.
Napa, and I hear that actually Costco, the Kirkland batteries, someone told me were very, very good. Obviously, they're not making them, but
No, they're interstate batteries.
are they?
Yep.
I mean, I've been staying in my Pontiac and in my Impala, and they're fine.
No, John,
There you
those
go.
are no good now. They used to be
Yeah.
good. Now they're garbage.
Oh
They're
yeah.
good enough.
Sorry.
If it lasts a year, I'm fine.
Now, I used to live by the Die Hard Gold back in the
Yeah.
day.
I had
What
Which
brand
one?
was that, John?
awesome. That's Optima. That's a
Red top.
spiral cord jelly inside it. You can mount it upside down if you wanted to.
Yep.
Can't leak.
Yeah, that's what I run.
Scott, why are they junk?
Because
They
they're made in
made- they
China.
made-
They used to be very good. Hey, Terry.
I heard they're made in Mexico.
Olay.
From
Who?
3 years ago and back, they were good, and now they're just not holding up, is what I've been hearing.
I'm hearing people saying that, and I'm hearing other people saying that. I got a battery that's in there for 3 years, and I haven't had a problem.
Let me guess. Optimum.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
Optimum battery.
Yep.
Red tops.
I got them in
I've had
every
mine.
one of my cars.
I changed the ones over in the tool truck, and I took in my old tool truck. I had them in for 4 years, and I pulled them out and put them in my new tool truck, and it's been another 3 years.
Yeah.
I've had them.
I got them in every one of my cars, and if you get that Optimum charger, it brings it right back. It's great.
That's what I got.
Mhm.
I bought
I
that
love it.
Optimum charger from Summit. That thing's really cool because it's kind of like Art Deco.
Yeah, it looks like a battery itself.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got the real big one.
I got a small
Oh yeah,
one
yeah,
with a
yeah.
little handle.
I bought the mini one.
With
And
the
it
little
looks
one,
like-
yeah.
It looks like this little Art Deco thing, and it's got all these LEDs that blink. It tests the battery
Yep.
before it
Okay.
starts charging.
Even a little light on one of the little the positive.
It's got all kinds of cool stuff.
It's great.
on it, and I'm like, yeah, this thing's awesome.
Oh,
So, yeah,
and
that's what I have.
and Ray, to answer your question, because I heard you, they changed the date for my show.
Ah, okay.
They changed it at the last minute. They had it on the Discovery Channel, on the Discovery, what's it called? Help me out.
You talking about Monster Garage?
Yeah, they had it on the Discovery schedule.
Yeah.
And it said Chev's got shingles. So that's why I told you guys. But then the next morning when I looked, the morning of the show, that Monday, it was like they had the boat one, I think it was.
Yeah, I was going to text you. So the title is Chev's Got Shingles.
Chev's got shingles, exactly.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, they finally got it on TV now. I'm so glad.
Regular
I've been
Discovery.
recording it.
I think
And
the
they got
Wayne
them-
Maddox the Wayne Maddox episode is coming up. He's the one with the Corvette.
That's this coming one. It's on
That's
my
the one.
DVR.
That's the Wayne Maddox show. Yes,
Which one are you on? Which
the
car?
one with the pickup truck, the red pickup truck. Chev's got
Right.
shingles.
Cool.
I was gonna message you. I'm like, hey, when am I gonna see that episode?
Well, as soon as it comes on, I'm waiting to see
It'll
it
be like the
myself.
last one you watch.
It probably would be because we were the second one shot. We shot the second episode, but our episode when it aired on Discovery Plus, it was I think the 6th.
Yeah.
But we were actually the 6th, the second episode shot.
Well, I was watching. I was very disappointed.
And I was too. I was like, I could go back and tell everyone.
Yeah. Right.
Hey
Did
Terry,
anybody watch the boat one though?
I saw them all.
I'll tell you, it was crazy. It was like right down to the last second, it's not starting, and then they blow the friggin' thing up. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
TV drama.
all that work, you know.
Yeah.
And I hope they pulled that motor back out to put back in the Corvette before they blew it up.
I would. What would you have done?
I would pull that motor out.
I don't think they're like, yo.
He would have just took a sawzall, cut a giant hole, and dropped it out.
That's it.
hey Terry,
Yeah.
that charger you posted earlier, that video, man, that bad boy was sweet.
That is one awesome. And the cool thing about that is That whole skin is carbon fiber. I watched them put it together because I've been hanging out there, and it's all carbon fiber. The guy, he painted it green. He wanted green, and everyone in the shop was just like, it is going to be an ugly color, because when you see that green on a splotch, you're thinking, I would never paint my car that color. But the owner was like, I want it green. That car came out incredible, and
It's almost like that.
yeah, it came out incredible, and it changed my whole idea towards green. I mean, you can only put that color on a Mopar, though. You can't put that on, like, it's got to be a Mopar.
Yeah, it was nice.
And the cool thing about it is he has the red-eye cat, like in the stripe, the Mopar stripe in the back quarter panel, and the eye is red.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a red eye. Brand new car. It has, I don't know how many miles on it, whatever brand new car has. Brand new.
Wow. Must be nice to have money. Hey, John, what does it feel like?
I got no money.
Speaking of Corvettes, has anybody dealt with Zip for a carburetor?
No.
Zip?
I've heard of them, but I've never. I mean, I don't buy carburetors because I build them. But a guy gets a referral from one of the guys who listens to the radio show. One of my regular guys. Guy was another retired cop, and he comes over the house over the weekend. 69 Corvette C3 convertible, 427 4-speed. I'm like, oh, just leave it here, will you? Side of my car. So he bought this Quadrajet from Zip, and the problem is he can't adjust it. You pull the adjuster screws all the way in, and the car keeps running. I'm like, yeah, it's an internal vacuum leak. So I said, leave it with me. I'll take a look. Pull it apart. What I found was the top and the bottom plate were like brand new. I mean, new butterflies, new screws, pristine. But the body had no GM number on it on the side where they usually are. And it was all kind of pockmarked, like just pockmarked metal. So I filed this.
Casting.
Yeah, so it was an old casting. So I filed it flat, and I found an imperfection on the base gasket where it was uncovering part of a passage. And I thought, okay, that could be the problem. I go to my stash, and I found a gasket that covered that part. So I said, we're shooting ducks in a barrel anyway. Let's see if that does it. So the car ran better, but it isn't fully cured. And in the meantime, Zip had told him, well, we'll send you another one, but it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. He's like, well, then the show season's done, and what good does that do me? My car is laid out. Yeah. So he calls the company that rebuilds them. He found out it's Carolina Carburetor. I said, I wish I would have known. I would have stopped by and picked it up for you when I was down there. But
South Carolina or North Carolina?
I didn't even ask him. But anyway, Carolina Carburetor said to him, you know what? He says, because he's saying, look, I don't want you to think I'm a nut. And they said, no, we just had that problem fairly recently with a 68 Camaro. Same thing. It was a big block motor. He said, maybe 1 out of 200 carburetors does that. Now it's 2 out of 200 carburetors. And they said, we will send a new one to Zip and have Zip send it to you, and then you send the old one back. So he was super happy because that's really good customer service. So just
I was gonna ask you, Ray. I need to. I got my carburetor Quadrajet done on the Cadillac, and it runs, but when I hit the gas, it wants to stall. So I need to adjust it.
Don't hit the gas.
Got a flat spot.
Sounds like an accelerator pump issue to me.
Yeah, you got a hole.
Really?
Yeah, the pump's not covering the hole.
Okay.
On that note, right after the guy with the Corvette, I had to do an adjustment for him. So he came down to the shop because I was there earlier in the week. And I said, now you can see some of the stuff I have to work on. My buddy at the shop gave me another car, this 83 Chrysler K car.
Wow.
83.
And he was turned down by 3 companies to rebuild the carburetor. They said, no, we don't do those. So he says to me, I need you to rebuild the carburetor. I'm like, well, I think I could do it if they can't do it. I never touched one of those. It's a Makuni. He goes, you can rebuild anything. I was like, listen, don't say that. I got it done. It's a extreme effort, but there's so many little vacuum ports and crazy stuff on the carburetor. But the same thing, I drove it, and you hit the gas, and it would start to go, and then it went, it would just fall. And I said, it's an accelerator pump. Yeah, I could probably just change that and we'll be done. I should.
Ethanol is bad for them.
So is that on the carburetor?
Oh, is that a 3310? Oh, that's a spread board. Yeah.
This is off of a 68 Corvette.
Okay.
Huh. So the accelerator pump, is that on the carburetor?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
It's in. It's in. Brian, I have one of those upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the number.
Isn't there
46.
isn't there a piece of linkage?
Yeah, there's a thing that
This is a
We've got two conversations going here.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll talk
3210,
5210.
52 or 32.
Yeah, 5210.
actually, can
the
you
3000 series of the normal bores.
on a quadrijet? You got to take it all apart, or is it?
You do,
on the
Lewis.
bottom?
If you look where the throttle cable comes on,
Mhm.
and the piece of the linkage that moves, you'll see there's a rod that goes up onto an arm, and the arm
Rocker
pushes
arm.
down on the pump. That's
Okay,
the
yeah.
pump. But you got to take the top of the carburetor off to get it, and it's not an easy thing to do if you've never done it.
Now, shouldn't he have fixed that when I got it rebuilt?
Absolutely.
Should've.
Absolutely.
Without doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, without
One
doubt.
of the things you got to check is linkage issues. If you can move the throttle and you don't see that arm moving the rocker arm, there's
Sure.
going to be your hole.
That's more of a problem on the Hollies because guys never adjust the accelerator pump throw on a Holly. You know, I think I'm the only nut that does that with a feeler gauge. But the quadrijets usually always move. The rod has to be, by the way, on the inner hole, not the outer hole, and that gives you a quicker throw. So,
So I shouldn't mess with the adjustments at all.
well, the adjustment's just air fuel. I mean, you should make sure that they're optimized too. But if you're
Well-
hitting gas and getting a hole, it's most likely the accelerator pump isn't squirting fuel. And you know what you
Gotta-
can do with
Got to
with the,
cover that gap with gas.
with the engine off. Look into the carburetor, open the choke plate, and work the gas, and you should see two streams of fuel squirting down. And if you don't see that right away, you know the accelerator pump isn't working. And like Scott said, ethanol is the killer of
Eats up
everything.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot just like that.
Right.
Hey Terry, I was
Eats
thinking about you
everything
last
alive.
week.
Is
I
that
went to
good?
a car show, and it was this beautiful '56 Chevy, and guess what it had under the hood?
An
LS.
A Ford 302.
LS.
I would choke.
I almost took a picture to send it to you, and I'm like,
You gotta let me
See
know
that
about
up
Go
that.
ahead.
'Cause, you know, like what's it called? You gotta show like the bat signal, so at least I know
Yeah, the LS symbol.
the LS symbol. You know, Dead Man's Curve is coming around. I get not this weekend, next weekend up in Ramsey, you know? Mawa.
Yeah,
New
Mama.
Jersey.
Wow,
I was
wow,
thinking of
New
going.
Jersey.
It's
You should
an
come on
awesome
down.
show.
Yeah, I'll be there. I might be bringing the
My buddy
Trailblazers
goes
out there.
there. He takes his
September
32
2nd through the
Ford.
5th.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
a
Terry.
great show, I hear.
I'm setting up interviews with celebrities and other folks at SEMA. I've been filling up the calendar. I need a co-host. Would you like to be my co-host?
Yeah.
When we're
Hey,
there?
how cool is
You know
that?
how we do it, man. Come on, you know, of course.
All right, I'm gonna send you the schedule, and you pick when you want to be there. You know, I'm gonna ask Miss Perinas too.
And you definitely got to have a little, what's it called, little Nora Gill.
Yeah.
You got to get her in there.
Yeah, so we're doing that Trolley's booth.
That's right, Lewis. I did see you on TV. I saw you on the show, the Boss Hog converter. You were right in the beginning. You
Oh
were
yeah,
you're wearing a yellow shirt and you were standing with somebody holding up a banner.
okay. Yeah, Dwayne. Me and Dwayne were holding up a
It was
banner.
2 seconds. It was 2 seconds, but you
Was
were there.
Was that sexy?
Oh yeah.
How could you not be?
That's all that matters. As long as I was sexy,
You
they got me
were
on my good side.
right.
Hey, Louis, what's going on with the bus?
I'm working on a video. I did a little bit of work. I'm
Don't-
breaking
I
out the
want-
welder.
I want to be surprised.
Yeah, I broke out the
This-
welder.
This is smuggled out of the Hot Wheel factory, but January, the one of the chase cars, the Super Treasure Hunt, is a '56 Chevrolet.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, 56,
I keep
55.
telling you guys, I'm glad you guys are understanding what's going on here.
Well, we don't.
Yeah.
We still like 55s and 7s, but
Shut up.
I know. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is going to pull the ranks of being a $200 car, like the 55. But I'll let you know when I find one and see what it sells for.
Yeah.
sweet.
This conversation's over.
hey guys, I gotta be at work at 7 tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna hit it.
At 7? What?
What?
I got
7? Come
more
on, I
stuff.
get up.
I'm ready to go to lunch around 7.
No, I have to be at work at 7.
Oh man, shoot.
Oh,
I'm at work at 4:30.
Wow.
I need my 8 hours
That's
sleep,
early.
or I'm a mess.
Me
Just
too.
sleep a little faster. That's what Arnold said. Just sleep a little. Don't worry.
Well,
Chester.
Anyway,
All right,
be good, everyone.
all right, Scott. Have a good
All
day.
right, take
Hey,
care,
Scotty
guys.
boy.
All right.
This one's already, like I said, this one's smuggled. I don't know if you can see it, but it's already at 150.
Wow.
Wow.
But this one, this guy I think works at the factory in Malaysia, and I think he's smuggling this stuff out. But it's not even out yet. I mean, it's 2022 is when it's
Wow.
released.
Hmm.
So,
Hey Brian, I was watching an episode of Detroit Muscle.
yeah.
So they're building that really super nice Mustang that they're going to give away. They were doing a whole front suspension system from oh god, trying to think of whose suspension it was. Real high end stuff.
Detroit Speed.
Detroit Speed. Yeah. It's like a whole aluminum frame.
Like a cradle.
It-
The whole cradle.
Yeah, the cradle that goes under the stock rails. Then there's like brackets you got to weld to it to put it in. And the sway bar is splined and it fits inside the cradle with these big nylon bushings. He's got these curved arms.
You know how much
Super
that thing?
nice stuff.
You know how much that thing costs?
I got no idea, but it's
Over
gotta be-
10,000.
Wow.
Over
they're
10,000.
They're giving this car away, and
Wow.
the chubby guy who's on the show, he was tightening up the bolts, and he reached for his. This thing had like a 3-foot long handle. It was a Matco torque wrench, and they actually put the Matco graphic right up there on the screen.
Oh,
Matco
yeah?
tools, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I need one of those.
Yeah.
The car was up on the lift, and he was tightening the bolts and pulling on it. It was a click one, you know.
I'd
Yeah.
like to get one of those too. I was just looking at them at Harbor Freight, but they didn't look
Yeah.
too strong.
I wouldn't trust the Harbor Freight one.
But see, I won't use it that much. I'll use it maybe once a year. But when I need it, I need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't even know if it's
Look,
accurate.
look at Brian.
Yeah, but you don't need a 3-foot one unless you're doing truck work, big truck work,
Well, my bus.
I guess. But what are you taking? What are you doing? You're not doing suspension.
Hey, you never know. I might have to get up under
All right.
So
It's all right.
I'm gonna need a torque wrench because I'm gonna be doing some stuff. So I'm gonna go look in the Matco catalog and then send you a number.
Yeah.
Use the online app. It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, use the online app. It's a lot better and more up to date.
Right.
And I think I just repoed one.
Yeah.
Half-inch digital.
Uh huh.
Yeah. I repoed. I think it's the newest version.
Awesome.
I don't think the guy ever used it.
Wow.
Yeah. I got to get something because I'm gonna be messing with these motors a little bit and some other stuff on the car that I'm
It's
gonna
got torque angle. It's got degree, torque angle,
Torque to yield.
torque to yield, and it's got all the different specs for setup.
Degree of angle, degree of twist, and all that
All
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
What's torque to yield? I'm old school. I got to tighten something to 75 pounds. I work my way up. It just clicks.
All right.
So what's all this other stuff?
Ray, you want to explain it a lot? Go ahead, Ray. Take it.
What you'll see typically when you see the torque setting call out, it'll like say, and it's usually on suspension components and engine parts. So it may say something like 25, 60, and then plus 30. So what that means is first pass is 25 foot-pounds, then you go to 60 foot-pounds, and the
Right.
plus 30 means plus 30 degrees. And that's when you go to torque to yield, and it's actually degrees of rotation.
Or a twist.
What it does is the bolts stretch as they tighten,
Right.
and what the engineers have
And
figured
head
out.
twists.
Yeah, but what they figured out, the threads stretch, and they figured out what the maximum stretch is to get the maximum clamping load, and that's a combination of torque and then that angular twist, and that's what torque yield. So you'll see it on caliper bolts, you'll see it on head bolts, even sometimes on like head components on the newer cars. And
What about when you're tightening like my motors? They're studded.
No, yours is straight up torque.
Yes,
Straight
yeah.
torque
If you
on
got
a
straight up torque,
studded head.
You don't need torque to yield. No, not for that.
that's why on the LS engine, from the bolts from the factory, most of them are torque to yield. You can only use them once.
And I've got yes, it's a one-use bolt. You got to throw it out. Now, when I did my wife's brakes, I did them at the shop, and I changed the rotors. So I took the caliper brackets off, and then I looked at the spec, and it was a torque to yield spec. I was like, I don't have new bolts. So I said, I hope the old bolts will go back in, and they did. And then I ordered the bolts off Rock Auto, and they came in like a week later, and I just swapped them out. So,
See, I know like a lot of the engine guys when they're doing rods.
Yeah.
Like if you use an ARP bolts on your rod ends, ARP gives you a dimension, and you keep torquing it, and you have like a caliper that goes around it that measures the overall length of the bolt from head to the end of the bolt at the threaded end. As you tighten it, it gets longer.
Same exact idea. They're just doing it a more analog way.
Yeah.
But that is the same exact thing that a torque to yield wrench does.
And I got one from, I think it was Eastwood. Eastwood, they got this electric one where it's a torque wrench. So let's say you program it because let's say 40 foot-pounds, right? And then you got a degree of twist, 30 degree of twist. And so you hit it and they'll click one time when you're at 40. And then it'll turn blue. And then now you're ready for the degree of twist. Just let it sit there so calibrate. And then you just go just a little bit and you'll see the numbers go up, and then once it gets to 30 degrees, 30, what was it, Ray? 30 degree of twist. It'll start beeping. And when it's there, it'll turn green.
Right.
And then you stop. So you can program this thing. It's kind of cool. And I'm sure Matco got one.
Yeah, ours is the program and the color, and you can have the vibration, or
yes,
it depends. If your shop's real noisy, it would be you can just have vibration.
Vibration, yep.
It usually starts to beep. It'll beep a little quicker, and then when you get to the setting, it'll go to solid. It'll be like your heart stop. It'll be just like beep, and okay, stop.
Wow.
Typically, but,
And you got to watch out for the cheaper ones because now I'm old school, like you said, and I'm a bumper. So what I mean by that is when I'm pulling on a torque wrench, it goes snap, 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 snap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So on the digitals, it's counting that as a torque.
Yes, it is.
To be recalibrated on the cheaper ones, like 200 torques or 200 whatever operational. Then you had to send, because I had guys that was bringing me a torque wrench back within a month saying it needs to be calibrated. And I'm like, well, how many times are you bumping on it?
Yeah.
Because every time you're bumping on it, it's counting that as a torque.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah.
So our new ones are up to like 10,000 now or something, so that you don't have that problem. And of course, that's just all about money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I think about it with mine, once you get to the torque, you got to let it sit there. You can't bring it back. You got to let it sit where it is so it can calibrate the degree, and then you go forward. You're right about that, because if you go back, you messed up. You got to now. You got to
do it all over again.
And you need to have a smooth, consistent pull, not a yank. That's what they want you to do.
Yeah. Because a lot of guys have problems. They get all crazy in there. They get all crazy, and like I said, it takes about 3 or 4 times to do one bolt.
Right.
And you just want to make sure
on that one you got.
Okay. And if you if you have a washer underneath the bolt, like when you're doing on the stud, you want to make sure your washer's not spinning with the bolt,
Right.
because that will really throw you off.
I don't know why this would be like if it's like, 40 foot-pounds and 30-degree of twist, do the arithmetic, 46 foot-pounds, whatever it is.
Yeah. The other way, John, of doing that is I have a tool by Lyle, and it's literally just a round protractor gauge with a needle on it, and it's got a drive end for a socket.
Right.
You put that on a bolt, and you put a breaker bar on it, and you turn it, and it literally just reads degrees of rotation.
Yeah, and you also got the little metal rod.
Well, this one has a little clamp, a little alley.
Yeah, a little clamp or the metal rod where you are, and it will hold it so you can see a degree where it's degree at.
Right. Again, it's cheap and dirty. It works. The problem is you can't get it into every spot because now you got the tool, you need a breaker bar, the torque wrench.
You may need extension.
Yeah, the torque wrench becomes easier a lot of times, but the other one does work, especially if you have access.
I've used several LS engines, man. Mm-hmm.
I got an awesome torque wrench from like when I was a kid from Craftsman.
The beam.
Oh, the beam, yeah.
When it goes out of spec, all you do is just bend the beam till it goes back to zero.
Right.
Whoop. It's got to be.
I got the
swear
beam,
to God,
man.
I bought this thing like in 1972, and I still have it.
I lost mine somewhere. I don't know where mine
Yeah, I
was.
still have mine.
The handle goes click, 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 click.
I have that one. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to mine. It's long
Awesome.
gone.
I'm going to do a test when I get that one from you, and then I'm going to test mine. See how
I'll
far
tell you
off
what-
that is.
I'll tell you what the purpose the beam still has. When you want to do a pinion seal and you want to preload that seal, that's when you need a beam type wrench. Or you could do a wheel bearing too.
We had on the 911s, or even on the 944s, the transmission, you had a turning radius torque.
Right.
When you got it all together, and you had we had one that was electronic, and it was very similar to like how the Lyle thing was. It had a dial and it had a wire hooked up to it, and then it read over on a digital scale. But I used to use my beam on it, and that was more than easier and just as accurate.
Right.
Just had to have I can't remember what it was.
You can just pull it and see what the spinning torque is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they some of the guys look and say, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, "Man, that was my first torque wrench, man." That was.
Hey, man, I built a few motors with that thing, and I never had a problem with snapping a bolt or a stud.
Right.
Same here.
I come from the old days. I was using like GM bolts. I wasn't throwing the bolts out. I would have the heads. I would have the heads on and off the car maybe 3 times a season. Still using the same bolts.
Oh yeah, I've done
Torque them up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure under heavy load with nitrous, you were probably lifting the head off the block. Who the hell?
Well, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
No problem.
How's your car coming out, Terry?
Which one?
The GTO. Which one are you working on the most?
Right now I am working on that Le Mans the most. I just got the inner fenders for the front because I had to, what's it called? The other ones are just rotted, I mean, I was going to try to repair them, but I was just like, you know what? For the amount of time I'm going to spend to repair these things, just get new, and
Nice.
so I went to Goodmark, even though I'm not a Goodmark fan, but
asymmetrical paint job.
Yeah. But this one, I was
just
on
got the radiator.
Terry.
Did you?
The rad support's going to be coming this weekend, so it's going to move quick. And I'm putting the engine together. The engine I was building, using all the Summit parts and everything like that, the rotating mass and everything, that was going to put in my '67 Chevelle. I think that might find itself in that Le Mans because the Le Mans is like more together than '67 Chevelle. '67 Chevelle's still on the rotisserie.
Yeah.
So I figured it might be a good thing just to throw that in that Le Mans and just,
roll.
because I got all the pieces, it's just a matter of just doing it,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
But I also got the 67, the 71 that I got to finish up. I decided to go and paint all the bumpers.
Did you?
Yeah.
It just look good, man. It's, you know, that's a Foose look. He paints everything.
I know, but because I was trying to price out, you know, because I modified the bumpers with those driving lights, I was trying to find out how much it would cost to actually get them chrome. But to get those things chrome, I'm going to have to spend a lot more hours of TIG welding,
Yeah.
you know, to get it like close
Perfect.
to chrome
Yep.
before anyone would take it. I called up what's called Paulie's. They were just like, "You're looking at $2,000." I was like, hey. You know, so I was just like,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be painting these bumpers. Worst come to worst, you know, I'll go and get some new chrome ones. You know.
Yeah,
But,
I might paint mine too, man. That's too. See, I'm cutting my whole center out of my front one, and dropping the grill all the way down.
Yeah, you're dropping it all the way down. That's what it looked like. What is it, the Riviera, like the Boatel Riviera? If you take the bumper off, that grill goes all the way down.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. In the front.
That's a nice look. It almost looks like a split bumper.
I'll
Almost like
tell
a
you
split
something.
Camaro.
My Fiat is the same way. And only when I took that front dual tube bumper off, I saw that there was a lower grill. I never even saw it. So I made new ones out of aluminum, like an aluminum. What the hell would you call it? It's chromed aluminum, but it looks like if you took a rectangle and then squashed it, so it became like a diamond. Like
Okay.
aluminum diamond. I bought it from Summit or Jegs, I don't know, and I made new grills out of that, and now they really stand out, especially without the bumper. So
Some cars just look better without bumpers. I think a 67, 68 Camaro. Take that front bumper off, man. That thing looks great.
Yeah.
It's such a small bumper anyway. Yeah, they do look good.
Yep.
I agree.
Take it off.
That's what they're doing with the Camaro. I did.
All right.
I didn't put it together with the front bumper, and he came,
No.
and I'm like, dude, no bumper. Fill in these
No.
holes in the valance.
That's it.
Smooth.
It's 69. You can't do the same because the
Yeah.
contour kind of goes into the grill,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, and it's a shame because, well, 69 needs that bumper, I think. But 68, 67, I would never have a bumper on that car if I had one,
Yeah. They look great without a bumper.
you know. And you know what also looks good? I think it's that I believe also has the long bumper that goes down. Actually, there's like two of them. I think it's the 73 Cutlass.
Yeah.
It has like the two little bumpers in the front. I'm sorry, the two little grills in the front, and it has a bumper that I thought there was a second bumper, but no, that thing goes straight down. I saw a car with one off. I'm like, it looks good. You know?
Yeah, I love Cutlass,
Yeah.
man. But I seen a couple. I was gonna try to grab them, man. But they just so out of price range, man.
Yeah, that's
People-
73 to 77. Any one of those GM cars, you know, like those
Yeah.
A-bodies back then. Those things are, you know. I mean, I would love to have my hands on like a Grand Prix, like a 70. You know, like I actually the goal is to have a 72 Grand Prix. That's my favorite.
Mhm.
A big center grill also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. But if I can't have one of those, I always like the 75, 74. I always like that body style with the T-roofs.
Bigger and heavier. Yeah.
They're getting crazy, man. I seen a beat up Cutlass the other day. It was a 78.
Mm,
They wanted five grand for it. I'm like, dude, you
Sure.
smoking crack?
no, you know, all these old school cars that we could pick up for like $700 when we were in high school. You know,
$50 cars.
yeah. Forget it. These cars are going up.
Try
And-
buying
and
one
that's
of these
cool.
today.
Yeah, you're right.
That's ridiculous. That fiber back there, the Trans Am, is ridiculous that year.
Listen, I got a buddy here in Youngstown. I was at his shop a couple weeks ago, and he probably has, I bet he has 10 or 15 parts cars. So if you run into something that you really, really need, let me know because he has
I
a whole
definitely
bunch.
let you know. Because even the dog ear Camaros and there were really no dog ear Trans Ams, but the dog ear Camaros, like
Oh, yeah, there
74,
was.
Yes,
There was no
was.
dog ear Trans Ams. What year was dog ear
70,
Trans Am?
74, 75 had that ugly rubberized.
That was not the 74, 75 Trans Am. I prefer it over 76.
Really?
I take a 75 over a 76.
John,
He likes the
you
weird
cannot
shit.
take this from a guy that thinks, a 56 is beautiful.
The
Now,
ugly,
kids,
You know,
Oh, God.
I was
the
gonna
ugly years for Firebirds
Terry, I
and
love you.
Camaros.
Don't worry, Terry. I still love you.
I'm gonna get you back in a
70,
second. But hold on.
74, 75, 76 with the ugly duckling years.
Let me set straight. I'm gonna get you back, Brian. But let me set John straight on one thing. Now you know darn well that them 74s and 75 Trans Ams were just beautiful. They sat there. They had the little indicator light in the grill. You know, one had the wraparound back window, the other one didn't. It's a nicer looking Trans Am. The 76, that's the dog year. That is the dog year.
70 to 73, and then the Bandit Trans Am. And
I
then,
can't have this conversation. I can't.
And then my half breed, 79 to 81. That's it.
Oh, so hold a second. So you take a 80, 81, 79, 80, 81 over a 75?
Any day.
This conversation is
Wow.
definitely over.
Wow,
Any day.
that's tough. That's tough.
Hey, John, did you hit your head today? You all right?
What do you mean?
Hey, listen,
Come on, man.
I'll take anything from the 70s. I don't care if
sitting in
it's
my other shop, getting ready to, get built.
It's like that picture you sent, Ray, like going into the 70s, remember?
Right. Yes.
I'll take those two models any day.
Yeah, me too.
I like these the best. These three, 71, 70, 71, 72, 73 are the prettiest Firebirds they ever built.
Okay, let's run it down. Okay, John, here we go. Okay, just so you know. Okay, you got your 69 first of all. 69 is a better looking.
69's cool.
The best
But
looking.
69, 67, 68, 69 was nothing but a Camaro with a facelift.
We're not even talking about the 68, 67. Those were ugly as hell.
Yeah, see, ugly. Look at that big ugly bumper. I hate those.
Yeah, that's my first car. That's a 75.
That big fat aluminum bumper. Oh God.
But
it seems like they were
69.
trying to make it a safety
That's
vehicle.
all it was. That's
69, we can't. Let's just put that to the side because that's in its own area. Yes.
69 Camaro's my favorite.
Immediately after the Trans Am, we'll go with Trans Am. Immediately after that, the best looking Trans Am is a 78, 77, 78. I will give you that.
70, 71, 72.
Then
73.
comes the 70. But you know what? Honestly, I'd rather have the 75 over a 70.
That's Camaro, Lewis.
Yeah,
Camaro,
75.
Yeah,
That's my first car right there. That dog year. But I tell you what, that's not such a dog year because those cars are commanding money too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything's commanding money now.
Everything. I mean,
That's very true on that, Joe.
Hey,
Dog
I
year-
seen a two-door Chevette for $3,500 the other day.
Dog year when it was original doesn't mean not collectible now.
no.
Oh no, absolutely.
Mm-mm.
Any of them are worth money today.
Yeah.
But
Right.
back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Those aluminum bumpers they put on the Camaros.
Right.
I don't know what kind of finish was on it.
It was that
After
fish
about a
on it.
year-
Like
After about a year and a half, we used to rainbow.
it looked right, rainbow, right.
It was
Exactly.
horrible.
I don't know. My bumper looked pretty good up until the point when I had the accident. I don't know if I agree with that.
Until you bend it up.
Well, what's it called? A guy smacked me on the arm coming busting Manhattan. I was so sour.
Oh, man.
I was so sour. I just got through. I just put my what's it called? My ladder, not ladder bars. What they call the shackles in the car up a little. I was
Gotta have
chilling
those Gabriel hijackers,
because the little airplane back trunk.
right? And then you had to have the decal, the rabbit with his ass in the air.
With the rabbits.
That was one of the best decals ever written out. That
Oh,
rabbit
old
with
school.
his ass up. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I have a link on my computer. There's a company that reprints all that old stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Thrush, Hijackers.
The hijacker,
Moon
Moon Eyes.
Eyes. What was the one that was like? It was like Woody Woodpecker with a
That's
big
Thrush.
cigar sticking
Thrush.
out of his mouth.
That's right.
Oh, that was Mr.
No,
Horsepower.
it was something else.
Oh, Mr. Horsepower, huh?
Mr. Horsepower.
Yeah,
Oh.
it looked like
Yeah.
Woody Woodpecker on crack because he had like
Yeah.
crazy hair.
Yeah.
And he had,
I remember
and he,
that
had
one,
he had a big old stogie
Cigar.
sticking out
Yep.
of his mouth.
Yeah, that's Mr. Horsepower.
That was
That
me
was a-
last night
That
on
was
my deck.
awesome. That was awesome.
I figured that would be like Grumpy Jenkins.
Yeah.
Hey,
Rest
don't
his
mess
soul.
with the Grump. I got to work with the Grump one-on-one. That guy was awesome.
I'm sure he was. I wish I could have.
And he was funny. He told some crazy ass jokes when he wasn't like in public. He was a good guy.
Mm.
I worked with him when he was building motors for Vinny Barone,
Ah,
and Vinny was running Pro Stock truck. He had a
Oh, I remember
Chevy pickup truck, and he went to Jenkins for motors, and he asked Jenkins if he can paint it like his Vega and Camaro, so it was white with that red striping on it.
right.
And he did the lettering up just like Jenkins did, and it was awesome, man. That was a hell of a Pro Stock truck. And then NHRA ripped the rug out from underneath Pro Stock truck and told everybody, well, you can run Comp Eliminator with it, but you can't run
Oh,
Pro
yeah.
Stock truck anymore.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
That's all it is. Thank you, Brian, man. Yeah, that's
That
a
was
nice
an
looking.
awesome class.
I love
You guys
the.
can go to bail. I'm out of steam tonight. It was a
All right.
bad day today at work.
All right, Jim.
Glad you
Oh,
sent-
yeah.
glad you sent me that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love the fender well. I love how that's how wide and tucked.
Good night, guys.
Pretty.
Oh, that's
pretty
a
nice.
that's
All
a
right, man.
wide
Take it
body
easy.
car?
So long, Jim.
All right, Jim, take it easy. Be safe. But I saw that, and I thought of you when you were doing your video on your front end.
Yeah, I mocked it up. I had to put it in there and everything like that because I wanted to make sure that nose fits. Because what happens is that orange nose I had, that was the first nose I got. Well, actually, it wasn't the first nose. The blue one was. That nose was totally complete with the brackets and everything. So and it's amazing because I thought that the fenders bolted to the side of the nose. They don't. On that car, it's just the only thing that holds that nose to the car is those 4 bolts that are bolted to the frame, and you got to adjust them to the fender. So I thought there was like some type of bolt where it'll close it off or something like that to make it look, like complete. Mm-mm. Same with the Le Mans. Once you take the nose off of the Le Mans, you got those little rubber pieces that make up the difference, which is about maybe this much space.
That's
And,
similar to this car. On the stock 70 to 73, the nose, there were these big brackets kind of shaped like a S,
Mm-hmm.
and they bolted to the frame, and then 4 bolts bolted
Four
to
bolts.
the nose, and the nose held the headlights
Yep. Everything.
and the lower valance, part of the lower valance, but not the whole thing.
No.
The
Yeah.
nose was separate from the fenders.
Yep.
And when you put these things on a lift, they would bend and you would see the nose drop down and the fender still going where it had to go. And then when you put the car on the ground, the nose came back up. That was a pretty horrible design.
No.
Yeah.
But
Now,
it's because the nose is rubber.
right.
It's a rubber nose with a steel inside.
Now, see,
So
if you
they
had
had,
a
like, no
75,
way to
you wouldn't have to
attach
worry
it.
about that.
If I had a 75, I would have
If you had a 74, 75, you wouldn't have to worry about
But you know
that.
what? That
If I had a
design worked.
74, 75, we wouldn't be here.
Here we go.
You know, that design was terrible, but it worked.
No, it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Well, this one's going to be a mishmash of that kind of stuff because I'm putting a fiberglass nose on this one. Steel fenders, but it's a fiberglass nose cap. It's an aftermarket nose cap. So it's going to be bolted to the fenders, not to the frame. Different.
Yeah, it's going to be different, John. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Cool.
What color are you going to paint? Oh, is this going to be the purple and
It's the white one.
the white one? Okay.
That's it. It's the white one.
What color the interior?
Bright blue, it's called. Factory 70 only color, bright blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my shops had, I guess it was the same year. It was a Trans Am, and it was white with the bright blue interior.
Yeah.
4-speed car,
Yeah.
low mileage. I mean, this thing had like 68,000 miles on it.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
Unreal.
it was very clean, very, very clean.
Yeah,
Hey, does
I should have never changed over to the 81 from the 70. I should have just kept it a 70 all these years.
See, I like that 70 front end.
What are you gonna do? I love it, but back then I was an idiot. So
Hey,
There are
I'm
some
looking
that
for.
say you still are.
All right. Hey, I'm looking for bed rails. If anybody need bed rails, send them.
Bed rail.
bed rails.
You had to hold the bus.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my toolboxes out of it, frame it out with bed rails. Cheap.
Oh, you mean bed rails that you sleep in? Bed.
Yeah, yeah. You got to come off your bed
okay.
rails.
When
Just
you
don't
said
tell the
bed
wife
rails,
you took them out.
I thought you meant the rails that go on the top of a pickup truck.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, bed rails.
Yeah. I'm like,
Go
we
hang
gotta
on,
handle
I actually
that.
thought he meant a bed. I was like, bed, okay. I actually thought that.
Go hang out around the back of Sleepy. See if they're
Yep.
Yeah.
getting rid of anything. You know.
Oh, I wouldn't
Man.
doubt it.
Them things are hard to come by, man, because it's metal. People junk it, scrap it.
You know what you got to
What's
do?
the guy's name?
You got to find the
Bob's,
guys
yeah.
that drive the truck.
Yeah.
They
Mm.
deliver the bed and they take the old bed with them.
Oh yeah.
Those are the
Right.
guys that you pay them off and hey man, I need 10 sets of rails.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna do that.
That's
I know a guy.
yeah. You got to find all the mattress companies and Sleepies and all of them
Mhm.
bed places out in Ohio and go find
Yeah.
a truck driver.
Yeah, you go to Bob's
Yeah.
Discount. Yeah.
We don't have a Bob's discount over here.
But you don't have Bob's Discount? I'll look for you. I'll look for you.
I'll look. I drive by 2 tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. One of them I stop by at 7-Eleven to get coffee. I'll park on the other side and look.
There you go.
There's all kinds of stuff out there.
Yeah, you're not too far from me. You're about 5 hours.
Yeah.
And you know what? I saw one of those school buses with the raised roof that you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I was like, oh, that's what Lewis is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
see
a
it.
lot of them out, man. I'm really impressed with what people are doing.
Nah, they look really great. I mean,
Yeah, there's people doing that's never did any kind of construction or anything.
Hmm.
And they're-
You know, it would be really cool, but I don't think it's cheap to do it yourself. It's got to be expensive. Is to have, like on a motorhome, they got those slide outs.
Right.
oh
right.
yeah, there's guys
Right.
doing them.
Think about that. If you had a couple of slide outs, how big that bus could be.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that did school buses. A lot of work though, man.
Oh, yeah.
Big heavy metal. I mean, you got to put some stuff in there.
Everything's got to be supported, and then you
Mhm.
got to have, where it comes out, they have like a awning roller.
Yep.
As the piece comes out, so the water doesn't drip down inside if it's raining.
And it's only 3 feet that slide out, but there's a lot of work to get that 3 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But think about it. You add 3 feet to one side, 3 feet to the other side. You just made the bus 6 feet wider.
Yeah.
But that's got to be expensive.
Well, I don't know if it's real expensive, but it's just a lot of work. I watched a couple of videos, guys doing it, and
Yeah.
they use real big, thick tubing, like maybe 6-inch tubing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're using some heavy duty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's guys doing it though. I don't want to go that far.
Just
Just me and
go that far.
Yeah, just me and the wife and the cat. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't need that. I don't need the extra 3 feet.
You don't
Looks like
need
I'm
a
sorry,
sidecar
Lewis.
added on.
What'd you say, Brian?
You don't need a side cart added on.
No. I might go out the back a little bit. I'm gonna put a deck on, put the bike on. I think.
Right.
If not that, I'm gonna pull a trailer with all my leather stuff in it and put the bike in there.
Make the back door fully open so you can pull the bike into the bus.
No, I don't think the wife's going for that one.
No, huh?
I think what's that going to be like the bedroom or either the kitchen? So
Yeah, the bedroom. Yeah, bedroom.
yeah.
Get one of
Peaches
those.
ain't allowed.
Get one of those platforms that
Yeah.
has like hinges on it. Drops down. You put the
Yeah.
bike on it, and then it comes up.
Yeah, Peaches ain't
Yes,
allowed
yeah.
in the house.
Coming
Yeah.
home yesterday, there was a guy with I think it was a Monarch, big motorhome,
Mhm.
2 axles in the back, so it had a tag axle. It was a pusher. Then
That's big
he
money.
had, yeah. big pusher, huge mirrors that came from the roof
Oh
and then
wow.
down.
It came down.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get
Right?
those. They put those on Freightliners. Some of the
Yeah.
Freightliner pushers.
So he
Yep.
had those. He was towing a 2500 Chevy
Mm.
behind him, and in the bed of the Chevy was a
bike.
golf cart.
Oh, golf cart. Was it?
Yeah.
See, I was thinking about maybe
Okay.
pulling my truck and putting the bike in the back of the truck. So that's a thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, look, check this dude out. He's towing a full-size Chevy,
Yeah.
and he's got a golf cart, and he's running a diesel pusher. And I'm like, it's just like money after money after money.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Big
Cool.
dogs.
Amazing. Big dogs, let me tell you. And they all got that. I don't know how that happened, but everybody that's got a motorhome got a tribal paint scheme on it. you
Oh
know?
yeah.
It's like, did you get the tattoo to match that, motherfucker?
Right.
Yeah. Listen, you have to really look at the paint jobs on those. Those are
Oh,
high-end
yeah.
paint jobs.
Oh, yeah.
They ain't stickers.
No.
No. There's on my way every week to go take care of the huge aquarium that's at St. Leo University. There's a marathon repair center on the way. And you see a couple of $1 million worth of motorhomes in there every week from
Easy.
Prevost.
Mm-hmm.
There's Marathon. There's a couple of other big name, companies, and they do the repair work and warranty work on all of them high end ones.
Really?
And every single one is hotter looking than the one next to it. All
Yeah.
different shades. Then you get the
Yeah.
guys that have the diesel pusher and they've got like a 25-foot trailer
it's
behind
painted
it.
the same way.
painted the same way. Yeah. Painted the same way.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, it's unreal.
Those
There's a guy that I know that came down here from Jersey. He's retired, he's well off. He's got a big Prevost diesel pusher deal, and he and his wife bought an RV lot in Fort Myers, and you can build what they call a tiny house on the
Mhm.
lot if you want. But all the lots are on a lake. It's all paved, the whole 9 yards. You got all your services. One of the stipulations of the HOA that's there is if you have a trailer, it must match the paint scheme of your motorhome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had to have his trailer done to match the motorhome.
That's sick.
It's unreal.
Some of those
yeah.
Priuses, man, are $2-3 million.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
watched this show about RVs, man, and they were easy $1 million. Easy.
Oh yeah.
What do you do
I've-
to be able to spend that
been-
on a
You
RV?
gotta be a millionaire. You gotta be a multi-millionaire. I've been in some at the drag strip, granite floors,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
freaking granite tile floor
I'll tell you this. The
in a
Parisi's
motorhome,
was-
chandeliers, all
the
crazy.
Parisi's motorhome was nicer than my house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Top shelf.
unbelievable.
Well,
They're building them now. They're using home appliances.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You'll walk in this thing and you got a big old double door with the freezer, Samsung, full size kitchen, refrigerator, stoves. I mean, it's all home stuff. It's no longer just that kind of stuff that you used to see in a Winnebago.
Oh, no.
It's not like.
Have you seen those? My boy RJ does. He does. They're not RVs, but they're trailers, and he does them for entertainers, like the movie
Oh,
stars.
really?
Will Smith
Yeah,
has
yeah.
one, and they park them at the set where they're doing movies, and the whole roof lifts up. It has a second floor, and they got marble floors and just crazy stuff inside.
Yeah.
Youngstown,
Nuts.
Ohio is
That's
located
ridiculous.
in the Home County.
Yep. Alexa, stop. She heard Will Smith wanted to get in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Control yourself, Alexa.
I don't trust that Alexa stuff.
Yeah.
No way. It's bad enough my computer and my phone listen to everything I say anyway.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, they're listening to you, so what's the difference?
mention something, and that witch, she sends a signal. Next time you go online, there's all
It
these
pops up.
ads.
Yep. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
So
gentlemen, I'm about to head on off. I'm gonna go late night. I was over at 612 tuning. Hey, it's gonna be a SEMA, a Trans Am, just like that.
Oh, yeah?
Cool.
Yeah, they're building one now. They put it's cool the way they did it. What they did was they got a 2016 SS Camaro,
Mhm.
right? They cut the firewall out of that, and they grafted the whole entire firewall and everything into this car. So when you
Wow.
get in the car, it's 2016.
Wow.
Mm.
It's a Camaro. They got everything working. The push button, the gauges. It's incredible.
Whose
So what I
booth is
had
going to be at?
Yeah, they put a Magnuson supercharger on there, so I wanted to make sure that it ran good before they blow it all apart to paint it, because they built it. Now next week they're going to take the entire car apart and do the body work, paint it, everything like that. It's going to be a SEMA. It'll be at the SEMA Hotchkiss booth.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be green, another green car, but it's going to
Yeah.
be that forest
No
green,
problem.
like that
Dark.
GM green that they had back in the 70s, 80s, or 60s.
Brewster.
Is that what it's
Brewster
called?
Green. Yeah.
Forest or Green Bug or whatever. Yeah.
Brewster Green was like, if you got a Brewster Green 73 455 Super Duty, you got like one of the rarest Trans Ams ever built.
Mm.
Wow.
That's like a total big bucks, money down collector's item. A, it's very few were Brewster Green. B, it's a 73. C, it's a Super Duty 455. I think it was last year for a Super Duty 455.
Yeah.
So they're worth like stupid money.
What color was the interior? Was it Brewster Green as well?
Dude, I don't know.
More likely probably
there's
black.
options. I think some were black, some were that green vinyl, some were probably like a dark leather kind of.
I would get the ugliest color. I want
kind of
orange.
like a clay.
Yeah, I want orange in this car. I want something green with blue interior. One off and let it sit in the
then,
garage.
Yeah, back then though, you were limited as to what colors were available. It wasn't like today. You know, it wasn't like today. So
yeah, but like I want red interior in my green car. Just one rare. Be like, the real rare one is that Brewster Green with red interior. Some guy came in there, like what's it called? I think it was $10 million.
Right?
Yep.
That's a German thing.
Yeah. I'd be like, I want the German theme. I want a red interior in my green car with a white.
We would have the cars that was going to go to the auto show. We would have to look them over and get them drained out because they wouldn't let them into the show with gas or whatever. And they'd be like yellow with blue seats and green carpet and all kinds of crazy ass stuff.
That's me, the one off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Yeah. But then, of course, when I have the car home, I take it and put black seats in there and just drive around until, okay, we're going to sell it? Okay, yo, this is that rear red one.
Yeah.
I got issues, man.
You have issues. But we still love you, Terry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump off too, guys.
All right. We'll
Thank you.
let you slide.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to help myself too. Everyone, as always, be easy.
All right, Terry. I'll get with you sometime this week. Tell you about what's going on.
Yes. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, fellas.
Good talking to you.
Yeah.
And the screen keeps getting bigger.
Yes, it is. Oh, what are you reading, Brian?
I just had a guy text me, and he's looking for a
Looking for a unicorn.
well, a sliding T-handle 3/8 wrench.
A sliding T-handle.
Yeah, with a 3/8 head on it, so you can put a socket on it and have a slider.
I
And
mean, a slider.
You know, the handle slides through the center. So
Oh.
you know, like if this is the ratchet,
Yeah.
you know, a part. I mean, a 3/8. It would be like a breaker bar. You know, just a fixed 3/8 with a hole through it, and then the handle slides through so that
Yeah.
a machinist, and he likes to, you know, have even pressure when he's taking broken studs out. You know, he'll weld a nut on and do it. He just wants one that he can slide and
Well, because you can slide it to one side to get the torque you need to brake.
right.
And
If you're up against the firewall, he's a
yeah.
stud, and they haven't made. I mean, they stopped making speed handles. They don't make speed handles anymore. You know,
Wow.
I mean,
So the speed handles I have in my toolbox are worth money.
yeah. See, right. Actually, this is a 1/4 inch. I just trying to find somebody that has some old stock stuff is going to be really. It's getting harder and harder to find some stuff.
It's getting harder and harder to find anything. I ordered a hood for my
But
car. He
that's-
told me
see, it's
12
right
to
there.
16 weeks.
Right. Oh yeah. You know,
yeah.
I know I have a 1/2 inch one in my
I
box.
think I have one of those.
I know because I just moved it today. I don't know if
Yeah.
I have a 3/8 though.
I think I got a 3/8. I know I have one somewhere. Probably buried in one of those drawers. I need a box. Have you seen any of the? Have you seen the scam? I see Facebook. They let shit get by. I've been seeing these ads, and it says it's Costco.
Uh-huh.
It's got the Costco banner, the whole 9 yards, and there's a really nice looking off-brand name toolbox, top
Yeah.
and bottom, and it's like online clearance sale, the whole deal. And you know, on the bottom, when you see those ads, there's like a gray area which gives you like the www, and the website is like psychomusic.com.
Oh,
Yet on the top, it claims it's Costco.
right.
And then you click it, and then it looks like a scene from Home Depot because it's all orange racking, and there's all these toolboxes, and there's like these $6,000 72 by like 7 foot with like 60 drawers, $75,
Really?
right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. And then it says there's like 300 comments, and you click the comments, and it shows all of these like Craftsman toolboxes, the newer stuff that you see at Lowe's, and people like, oh, this toolbox is amazing. I'm so happy that I bought it. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
And it's not Costco,
Right.
and it's like a total scam. And then like you drill down and you go to the About Us link or the Contact Us, and the email is like some guy's name at gmail.com. And I'm like,
Right.
some asshole's gonna fall for this, thinking they're gonna get like a $5,000 or $6,000 toolbox for $75.
What they're hoping.
They're gonna PayPal this dude or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're never gonna get anything.
and they do all that for $75. But I guess if you get
know?
10, 15, 20 people, I guess.
Yeah. But they're advertising on Facebook, and then if you click on the 3 dots to like send a message to Facebook, they only give you like a limited amount of reasons that you think this ad shouldn't be around,
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
and you can't explain it to them in a clear manner, where you could type in a box and say, this is total bullshit. Just look at the website and look at this, and you're accepting this ad, and you're taking this dude's money. Okay, fine, but he's ripping people off, and you guys got billions of people that are on your platform, and they're getting robbed, and you shouldn't be doing this.
And
So
all the
it's
while
like,
you're putting me in jail.
right? And then you worry about me
Right.
because I got
right.
things to say.
Right. Well, you're a bad guy, so.
Well, we'll see if I'm still alive with them tomorrow with the things I said about Biden today. Oh man, I read that. Fuck the riot act. Actually, for the whole last week since this thing started, I have I've let loose with numerous posts to the point where I'm looking at it going, people must think I'm really annoying and have nothing to do.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
But they don't realize you're just a guy with a valid opinion.
Well, they're shadow banning me
Yeah, yeah.
because I'll put something in there and 24 hours later it's only got like 2 likes,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
which means my friends aren't seeing it.
Right.
Because everybody tells me in private messages that I'm the one that's shouting the things that they want to say, but they're afraid to.
Right. Even
I'm
my
like, hey, I
wife
don't
says,
care.
you know what? I want to copy and repost this. She goes, but I'm afraid to do it because I know they're going to come down on me. So she's right there too, you know.
Yeah.
And she hasn't
I know.
brought me anything in a while, so I guess they are hiding it.
Yeah, they're hiding my stuff. I know they are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you know what? As much as I know that I'm wasting my breath and my time,
Yeah.
I just can't seem to stop.
Right.
You know, I mean, who of importance is actually going to see my truth?
Yeah.
You know, with me calling out the asshole in chief, it ain't like he's going to see it,
No.
and it isn't like somebody that works in a West Wing's going to see it.
No.
You know, it ain't getting there. So I think it's getting to the point where I start writing formal letters and mailing them and wait for the sunglasses and the black SUVs to show up and say,
Right.
fuck you. I could say whatever I want about the guy.
When they come by, when you see the black SUV come by,
Yeah.
and they trust me, my dad did that with Reagan.
They come by at 3 a.m. when you're sleeping.
Well, they used to they would wherever you were from, they would go out 2 weeks before, because they get all these letters. Back in the old days, it was letters, or they had the hotline at the White House, and pick up and they ask you just 3 questions and just let you ramble on. What's your name, where you're at, and is this and what's your phone number? And those people, half the people were so wound up, they tell them everything they want to know, and they just record the phone. And then if the president was coming out that way for whatever, about 2 weeks before, they'd come out, they'd watch you, they come out, they put you on the bus, and they drive you around. They give you a free lunch, free tour.
Really?
Cool.
Wow.
That's what they do. They go out like when a president comes in down in Baltimore or DC with the homeless, same thing. They go down there with 3 or 4 buses. They clean the streets off with those people. They give them lunches, and they take them for a ride around the Beltway for 4 or 5 hours. Drop them back when it's all over with, dude. Glorified babysitting, and that's what they'll do with John.
That's terrible. What I'm waiting for, and it hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for retired Secret Service guys to start writing tell-all books.
Yeah, I just said that yesterday. I
want to know what was it like to be the detail that had to watch Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
What was it like?
They contacted my father and my grandfather all the time.
Yeah.
And the only problem is you probably got the closest guy that has anything is that Dan Bernardino or whatever.
Dan Bongino, yeah.
He was a Secret Service agent. He was with Obama.
Yeah.
But all the old school guys that back in those days,
they're all true to the deal, huh?
When they took an oath,
yeah.
Those guys, and my father was contacted a dozen times about trying to get a write-all or get information or whatever, because my dad from Eisenhower all the way up to Bush 1.
Wow.
And
yeah, they were like mob guys. They was Omerta.
And the old school guys, will never happen. Now, I can't speak for that.
The
And
new Jack, the new Jacks,
The
different
new
world.
guys, they're so wound up about trying to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's it though. I want to read about it. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to be the fly on the. I want to be the fly on the wall for what's been going on for the last week.
I would buy that book. Hell yeah.
Absolutely, because you know that they're flipping out.
Oh yeah.
And then what happened today was the icing on the cake.
Right.
They're in complete turmoil, and you got somebody like Pelosi that's been running around with a fire hose trying to keep things quiet, and all she's worried about is how are we going to keep these votes in 2022 and 2024. You know, so that's her whole thing. It's all about the power of the vote.
Looking forward, they know what the agenda is. Yeah.
They don't give a shit about these soldiers that got taken out today. They could care less. They want to sweep that whole thing under the rug and hope that America says, well, this will be good for maybe 3 news cycles, and let's push COVID, let's push something else. And you know,
this is when the new variants comes out now.
Right,
right.
They already said there was another one besides Delta. I heard there was another one that they concocted.
Yeah. There'll be a new variant. There'll be the killer hornets are back.
Right.
There's going to be a bunch of stuff. You know.
Well, this is hey, look. The media is already starting to turn on Biden.
Yeah, but
okay. No.
I think they're
this is a plan
for a little while to get ready.
No. This is all the plan, because they got your boy out at New York, and they got that female in there.
Right.
That's one more powerhouse. I mean, that's one of those Camillas, and then they
want the hyena in the White House.
And what's going to happen is they're going to say, "Oh, we got to impeach, and we got to get rid of Biden, and we're going to have, and they're going to do what they're going to get what they've been trying for years, and they're going, and that's
Well, I was listening to somebody, and they said, well, there's a couple of things you got to think about here. A, she's supposed to be involved in all of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be involved in it. But there's been, I don't know if you can actually say how credible they are, but there's been leaks stating that she's trying to distance herself because she knows that these decisions were totally wrong. And that's the reason that she's not around and hasn't been around and decided to travel. Or the other side of that coin is there's stuff that's going on and they don't want her butting in on it. So we're going to send you to Vietnam.
Yeah. Not only that.
You need to get out of here and get away.
You know, not only that, but she had a miserable rating. Her percentage rating was abysmal.
Horrible.
So she was staying out of the public's eye just not to draw negative comment.
She hasn't done anything on the border.
Let Biden read his cue cards and then say, "Oh yeah, they told me who I was supposed to, ask a question of like, who was that again?" Like, Jesus, man, why don't they just show strings? You know,
my wife was watching him give that speech. I was doing paperwork. She called me, quick. Grandpa's on TV. I run out there and, we're watching it. And then he goes to the paperwork to take questions.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you effing kidding me? And I'm like, oh, it's like that all the time.
Right.
She goes, what? She goes, his staff actually picks who he's going to talk to. I go, they don't only pick him. I go, they'll have the reporters give a series of questions and they pick the question. Yep. And then somebody from the West Wing says, this is the question you're going to ask.
Yep.
So I'm like, she's like, that's utterly ridiculous. I'm like, that's your president.
My wife she came in ranting. She goes, I can't believe this jerk. She goes, he gets up there and the first thing he starts talking about is his son was in the military and he died.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
like,
tired of hearing about his son.
And she's, and listen, she goes, I'm sympathetic as anybody to losing a kid and, in the loss of a family. We all are. She goes, but when he keeps throwing it up there, he's like, it's a last ditch effort for sympathy. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
Well,
it.
I was waiting for the tears today.
Right.
I was waiting for the tears, and I'm like, really? You know, he was kind of looked like he was choked up,
Right.
and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're choked up because you lost 13 soldiers.
Yeah, no.
You're an asshole. You don't give a shit.
One of the guys in the front row shot like a little pepper spray. Like,
Yeah. I just look at him and I'm like, A, you can't even read a teleprompter.
Brian, it could happen. It could happen. Come on. Right?
Let me tell you something. Washington, D.C., nothing but
Hey.
theater.
Brian knows
Nothing
better
but
than all. He
theater.
can teach us some things.
It's
right.
one giant.
I just gotta
circus.
watch it, man. Dude, like I said,
Yeah,
I've seen that black Suburban, dude.
yeah. You know, hey, Ringling Brothers went out of business.
Right.
And they decided to move their headquarters to D.C.
Yeah. 1600 Washington Avenue.
1600, yeah,
Pennsylvania
Pennsylvania.
Avenue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. It's ridiculous.
it's bad. It's terrible.
So Brian,
Very
the
bad.
guys, you know that everybody loves you, but you're getting a bit of a soft rap. You're getting a bad reputation. We got to fix it. The guys, every time I come around, the guys are asking, you got to send me a bill.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know. I gotta send you a bill.
And the guys are asking me, like, hey, did you talk to Macco Man? I'm like, I'll see him tonight. I'm like, he's behind on his paperwork, but he'll do it.
Yeah, I gotta.
And now Derek was fucked up because he says, hey, he's going back to Guyana again for like it may be like a month or so. He goes, hey, listen, he goes, in another week or so, he goes, I'm going to Guyana. He goes, so I'm not going to be here. I'm like, all right, we got to take care of this before you go.
Yeah.
So I actually need 3 bills. Remember, 3 of them. One for me, one for John, one for Derek, and then and you got my credit card. So just hit it, and I'll collect from them. But it's good that they're asking me. It's like they're not trying to dodge it. They keep
No, actually, well, it's my fault. I don't. It's nice to get paid, but
Yeah. Well, I told him, I said, listen, what better tool guy to have that doesn't chase you for the money? I said, by the time it comes around, we're going to be buying more stuff again anyway. So I said,
There you go.
he knows we're good for it. It's not like we're not dodging him. It's like, I said, the guy's got my credit card. I just upped my limit on it. It's almost $10,000. It's like, I said,
I can add a pizza to it, right? Hey, John, hook me up on a pizza. Have one sent by. Come on, I want to see that good stuff.
I'll tell you
Oh,
something.
yeah.
That guy that my friend Mike who I was with in North Carolina, we had that pizza from Amalfi's, and it was this guy Londo who was from up in New York. You could have blindfolded me; I would have thought it was a New York pizza. He just sends me a text last night because he says, "I listened to the show. Londo heard it. It's great." He goes, "Now he's trying to figure out a way to like partially pre-cook a pizza and overnight it to you so you can bring it to a pizzeria and have it finished cooked." I was like, dude, over the end. I'm like, I said, I'll do a side-by-side taste test.
That would be so good. That
Yeah.
would be awesome.
When we were down in Matthews, there's it's at the bottom of Lake Norman where the lake is very big. And Lake Norman goes all the way up the state, and it keeps getting narrower, and there's all these tributaries. But at the bottom is one half of the lake is where all the NASCAR guys live on one side of it.
That's where my friend Vic lives.
Yeah, very pricey. So we were on the other side, but still, it was a club. It's like a private boathouse club, but they open it, for dinner to the public occasionally. So we walk in, we go to our dinner, and Linda goes, she wants wine, so he gives us this like a drink menu. And one side of it was a big plastic card. One side of it was all the wines. The other side was all the liquors. But I'm looking for drinks, right? So I see vodkas, rums, bourbons, scotch, tequila, and just like 5 or 6 brands under each heading and no prices. I'm like, where's like the drink menu? Like up here with margaritas, you get a margarita menu. They'll give you like 18 different margaritas. Down there's one.
Right.
Margarita, take it or leave it.
So
All
down
right.
there, you pick your booze and you tell them what you want.
So not being a local, I didn't know what the protocol was. So the guy comes back. I said, hey, this bourbon here, the second one. I said, how's that? I said, it says it's got a smoky flavor. And I like bourbon. He goes, oh, yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one myself. Yeah, of course. Of course you do. So I said, all right. I said, I'll go for that. So he's like, straight or on the rocks? I was like, all right, on the rocks. So he brings me 4 fingers of bourbon in a rocks glass. And then when he came back, I'm like, can I get a Coke? So these guys are like buying liquor and like, I guess they're just drinking straight up liquor. I'm like, shit, man, if I drank,
they're all, you get all those NASCAR guys. They're high end,
I go drinking like that, I ain't driving out of here, and I'm on roads I don't know. Whoa, dude. But I did have crab cakes, and they were the most unique crab cakes I ever had. They were some kind of glaze on them. I don't know what it was. They were different, very kind of creamy consistency. I like a crab
Carolina cake. Barbecued crab cakes.
I like a crab cake that's almost like toasted. You know what I mean? I like it like almost fried. Like I like a little crispiness to my crab cake.
Does it have a crab cake with toasted coconut
No.
on it? My wife.
And I ain't eating pineapple on my pizza either.
Hey, let me tell you something. That's a disgusting thing.
Yes, it is.
But I'm going to say, years ago at the mall, we went to who's that famous chef that's got a pizza kitchen?
Not Mario Valley.
California Pizza Kitchen. That's the name of the place.
Okay.
So it wasn't a famous chef, but it was called California Pizza Kitchen. I tried a slice of pizza with pineapple on it. It actually tasted good.
Wow. I can't imagine.
I was surprised.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
I was very surprised.
I mean, I'd rather, I like a grandma pie, like with the fresh basil. So you just smell the basil and you taste that basil. Oh, that's delicious. That's a pizza.
Yeah.
I don't know about the fruit.
It didn't have a red sauce.
It
was like a white pie.
A lot of times they have barbecue
with pineapple.
I went to a pizzeria one day and I told the guy,
you know what? Of being a pizza person, I got to tell you, my favorite pizza is chicken cutlet on it.
My daughter gets chicken, like chicken ranch all the time. Yeah,
in hot sauce. Because when I was living in Santa Mauritius, the local pizza guy there, he would make buffalo chicken pizza.
Right.
And he would melt the mozzarella, and he would put get the chicken cutlets and bread them up and fry them up real good, and then cut them into pieces, sprinkle that over the pie. And then when the pie came out of the oven, he would cut chunks of aged provolone.
Oh.
And put that on top after it was cooked.
Wow.
And then sprinkle on the hot sauce. What a freaking pizza. Unbelievable.
When we came home, my older daughter was over a lot. And so I saw a bunch of, I knew it was pizza in the freezer because it was triangular shaped. They wrap it in aluminum foil. So I had a piece one day for lunch. And the next day I asked my younger daughter, I said, hey, isn't this pizza not plain? And she goes, yeah, there's some with olives. I'm like, okay. And I opened one of the things. I'm like, I brought it to her. I said, what the hell is this on here? It almost looked like rigatoni. She goes, no, that's French fries. Like, who the fuck did they put French fries? I took right in the garbage. I'm like, throw this out. I don't want that. I said, look for the olives.
if you come to Florida and you wanna get sick and have the absolute weirdest combinations and the just absolute trailer trash crappiest pizza, go to a place called Hungry Howie's.
Really? Yeah.
It's like a pizza buffet. They have like 15 different kinds of pizza. So you go in there, it's like a one price deal, and you just keep going up and getting slices.
Oh wow.
It's like a luncheonette with all of these pizzas.
Oh geez.
But it's absolute crap.
I took it,
but you got to try it once though.
I took it to a kid a little while ago at the pizzeria, and I walked there. I said, "Yeah." I said, I need a regatta slice." He goes, "You mean a white slice?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, regatta cheese is white." I said, "But you're working in a pizzeria." I said, "Call it by the right name, will you?" I said, "We're not in like McDonald's."
Ricotta.
A ricotta slice. Yeah, that's the slice.
Well, yeah, down here it's like, yo, you must like that Italian food.
Right,
You're
right,
from
right.
New York. Down here they got Italian food. You got to buy car insurance instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
insurance. There's the inflection is in the wrong place. A lot of words.
And my wife
That's
just
just a southern thing.
Yeah, my wife just talked to both of her sisters who are in Florida today, and I don't remember where this one is. They both had just moved down within the last couple of years. One of them's over in Weeki Wachee, and the other one is
That's kind of near me.
yeah, the other one is over more on the other coast, and I'm not sure what town now. I don't remember. But my brother-in-law was telling her that the one thing they can't get. They were talking about food. So compare notes, and she says, "Yeah, you can't get Chinese food. Tony loves Chinese food. She says he drives an hour to go up to like by Disney, so he's an hour away from Disney to get Chinese food because you just can't get it down there."
I have two of the most awesome Chinese places right near me. One on one end of town, one on the other end of town.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's near you though. So yeah.
China One and something else, and they're awesome.
You know, it's funny.
Like a New York Chinese food place.
Oh.
You know, the rice is the same. It's cooked the same way. Everything, the sweet and sour pork and
Right.
it's just like New York.
On
Chinese
that note, I found out years ago the best way, after fighting with it, to make rice balls, because they never stayed together. Go to a Chinese restaurant, buy Chinese rice because it's starchy and it packs like a freaking ice ball, and that's what you use for your rice
I'll
ball.
ask my mom because she makes these awesome rice balls.
Mm.
There's a specific type of rice you buy in the bag that you use for that.
It's got to be very
I'll
starchy.
I'll ask her what it is.
All
Yeah,
right.
she told me because one Christmas they came down here, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll make rice balls when I'm down there. So
Yeah.
you need to buy this, and this, but you need to buy this particular rice."
Right.
So
Right.
I was like, "Oh, okay.
Uncle Ben.
I'll find out what it is."
Okay, Brian, have you ever had a rice ball? An Italian rice ball? Yeah. With the meat
Yeah.
inside and the ricotta cheese and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, delicious. I can taste it, man.
Gotta have that ricotta.
I can taste it now. Man, I want a rice ball. It's
Well,
good
last
stuff.
Christmas her and my sister made a whole bunch of them,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they cooked them up, and then they laid them out in that seal a meal dealy
Yeah. Yeah.
and sealed them, vacuumed them, and sealed them.
Right. Right.
Sent us a box of like 20 of them.
Nice.
Frozen. Yeah. She FedExed them frozen,
Yeah.
and then when we wanted to make like 4 of them, we would just cut through that seal a meal thing, so
Right.
it wasn't opening up the other ones, and then we would
Right.
just rip open like 4 of them and put them
Yeah.
in the air fryer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
Yeah, they were great. You cut them open and the cheese is
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
stretching out of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff.
Nothing like a good rice bowl.
That's very true. Very true. Unless
We
you
went
want to talk about a
We
stuffed
went to some
artichoke.
Italian place here, and the rice bowl was like this big.
You
It's
know,
like the
there's
size
a,
of a softball.
there's a place here called Chow Baby in Massapequa.
Yep, there's one. I think there's one in Comac. My
And this-
mom and my sister go there all the
This
time.
one was bigger than a softball. It was like the size of a small inflated ball, like a kid's ball. It was
Yeah.
freaking huge. They put it on a table. It's like you're looking at a crystal ball, but it's all right. Like,
Yep.
Jesus, this thing is
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. My
Big.
mom and my sister go to Chow Baby all the time. There's one in
Yeah.
Comac.
And
Either
they
Comac or
closed it.
Huntington.
They closed the one here in Massapequa, so we
Well,
lost
there's
it.
one. It's either in Comac or Huntington.
Yeah. We
They
went
go.
down to a what do you call it? A Chinese place, PF Chang's in North Carolina. And I
They're
like
out.
that place. There was one in Westbury in the Roosevelt Field Mall, but that closed. So I had Linda look it up. There's one in Huntington and somewhere else. I said, well, let's go to Huntington. Let's go out there. I said, I love PF Chang's. I go out, take the drive. What the hell?
They're here. They're in all the malls around
That's,
here.
yeah, it's a good chain. Good stuff. Very
Yeah.
good.
You know, we also have around here now. Grimaldi's Pizza.
Oh yeah, Grimaldi's. You're right. That's a little Italy staple.
Yeah.
It's another one. Yeah.
There's a tie-in with Lombardi's way back when.
Okay.
Yeah, from the original Grimaldi.
Okay.
And I asked my uncle because I saw the local mall in Tampa. I was driving by and I see Grimaldi's and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I called my uncle. I'm like, I got a Grimaldi's Pizzeria here. He goes, yeah. He goes, the nephew sold out.
Ah,
He goes, it's a scam. I'm like, really? But at the Venetian, see, the Venetian is in Vegas is 2 resorts. It's two giant resorts connected to each other.
yeah.
So it's the Venetian on one side, and I'm forgetting the name of what it is on the other side. But in the meantime, on the other side, the Palazzo.
Oh, Palazzo.
Yeah. On the other side, in their like inside mall and where the restaurants are, there's a Grimaldi's there.
Right.
And I was in the mood for pizza. And I said to Barb, I'm like, let's give it a shot, you know, and see what it's all about. It was absolutely perfect pizza.
Good. Nice.
I was amazed.
Nice.
It was traditional old school New York with the slices of mozzarella.
Yeah. That's like
Laid
almost like a
out
grandma
on-
pie. Yeah.
Right. Laid out with the
And they
whole
put the
deal,
basil on
and it-
top of that.
Yep, put the basil on it, and it
That's
was
grandma pie. Yeah.
it was wood fired,
Nice.
and it was crispy, burned on the bottom, black spots on the bottom.
Nice. Good. Good.
It was awesome. It was totally
Bumping
awesome,
up
and
on
it
the
was
crust.
hot. You had to let it sit on the plate for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. Those are the ones
You
when
know?
when you got it, you gavone it, you're like, stuck to the roof of your mouth. Like,
Yeah. So we wound up every time we go out to Vegas, we wind up going over there for like either for lunch or maybe on a dinner if we want pizza.
see if they make a
I mean,
nice
there's like 40 restaurants where I stay.
see if they make a nice calzone.
They do. They got all of that. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
another
they have
good one,
all
man.
of that.
Nice calzone.
So every time we go, that's why we stay in the same resort because
Yeah.
there's always something we haven't done,
Right.
and there's always something new.
Yeah.
And the place is just you would love it. It's like being in Italy.
Yeah.
You've never seen so much marble and gold. And,
Yeah, I was
and
in Billy Lynch's body
ritzy-
shop. I was in Billy Lynch's body shop in Huntington. I've seen marble and gold where you don't expect it.
Yeah.
The
it's
shop, the
unreal.
bathrooms, marble. Yeah.
You got to take the trip out there. You really do.
Yeah.
You
that'll
go
be it.
in the Venetian and you go in Caesar's Palace.
Right.
And
That's
in the
where
mall,
our
they have it's an indoor mall, right?
Uh-huh.
And they take cues from Disney.
Right.
You're inside, it's got a domed ceiling,
Mhm.
and it's painted blue and
Right.
white, and
Like
they use
outside.
LED lighting, and the buildings are like, think of like 7/8 scale. So you're walking, and it's an indoor mall, but each store looks like it's in a building from Rome,
Cool.
or
Yeah.
Greece, or on the Venetian, like it's in Italy.
Right.
And everything's scaled down, but they take that Disney approach. They
Right.
make you think it's bigger than what it is.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're
Just fool your
indoors.
eyes.
Cobblestone walkway that changes elevation like
Wow.
you're walking through the town.
That's cool. That's great.
It's sick. It's totally sick. And
That's
there's
nice.
every kind of store you can think of.
Right.
High-end jewelry stores, clothing, shoe stores, and then there's electronics, there's knickknacks, and then there's the idiots, with the LED sunglasses that are flashing a billion
Yeah.
lights, and they're out there hawking stuff. Oh, come on! I got phone cases, man. I got this, I got that.
Yeah.
You got everything there. It's like walking through the city.
So look, dude, you
So cool.
got to talk to Yield Talk Wrench. I need one of those.
What?
What?
It's unreal.
Oh, funny stuff.
There's
Oh.
a thing in the Venetian where the gondolas come through, and it's like a town square,
Yeah.
and they got people that are like in these costumes, and their makeup looks like the whole costume and their makeup looks like marble,
Oh, wow.
and they like stand there and don't move,
Right.
and
they
then
do
they
that
do
at Caesars
move.
too.
Yeah.
We do
It's
it.
so weird.
That's-
And then they got like minstrels out there playing, and you can sit down and you can have cappuccino, you can have Italian ices, and it's just sick. Totally
Hey, Brian.
sick.
That's what I'm going to tell you, Brian. When we were coming up 95 by you, the MGM, we saw the MGM build. That freaking thing is huge. What are they doing there?
That's a convention center.
Jeez, that is huge. Wow, impressive.
Yeah, I hold by we don't Gaylord. We also have Gaylord Convention Center up here also.
Nice name.
Every time we come around convention time, I'm always holding my breath, and hopefully Mako won't say we're going to be in Washington D.C. or whatever, you know,
Right.
because this isn't a fun place in February. So
No.
luckily, they've made the mistake, and we've been in Tennessee, and the weather was a little shitty, and we all keep telling them we want to go someplace warm and away. And
That's what I hate about the PRI show. It used to be in December in Orlando.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it. It was at the Orlando Convention Center. It's huge. You could do a lot there. Great weather, restaurants, things to see and do. You got all the amusement parks literally minutes away from the convention center.
Yeah. And then they moved.
Phenomenal. Then they decided to move it to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And we went and we froze our asses off. It was a blizzard when I landed.
Yeah.
Plane was flopping around all over the runway. Renting the car, driving in the snow. That's the day I met Lou and Lewis.
Okay.
They were walking down the sidewalk.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa! So I saw Lou, and I'm like, I need to meet this guy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he was with Lewis, and I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, we got a chat night thing. We got this chat night. Come online. Come see us. Come talk to us.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool.
I had his feet on last night, and Linda comes in the room. I said, hey, you recognize this guy? You sat across the table from him having breakfast. Oh, yeah, there he is. She goes, his goatee looks bigger on TV. I'm like, it does. He's not as big as I thought he was.
Lou?
I thought he was a much bigger guy. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not as big
He's
as
a
I
normal
thought.
guy. He's a Long Island, Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know?
But,
I watched the show last night for a little while.
Me too. I didn't stay.
And then what I did was I opened up another tab.
Right.
And I was looking at some other car stuff. And then I got bored listening to that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't stick with it either.
They shut it off.
Right.
Usually I'm there.
Yeah.
Making comments and, doing the whole 9 yards. But
Right.
last night, I don't know. The guy just didn't have it.
Right. Yeah. Not all A-list.
Can't get a winner every single week.
That's for sure.
Let me tell you though, who's contacting all of these people?
He told me that the guy, John and Kenny
knows everybody.
And the other guy, Kenny, they're the media guys because they got, I mean, Lou has contacts too, but these guys have a lot of deep contacts.
John knows everyone.
Yeah.
I'm Facebook friends with him, and he posts pictures, and he's done stuff with so many famous people through the years.
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy knows everybody.
Yeah. There you go.
Another great show I watch is the Power Hour. It's all about racing and stuff. And that's a really good online live video show.
Yeah.
They're connected with Lou. I think the guy Monday Morning Quarterback that kind of runs that, I think that's the guy that was helping Lou do his video stuff and when he had the other shop.
Okay.
Red-haired guy with a beard.
Right. Yeah, could be.
Yeah. So that's cool.
When I was at the shop and I worked on that K car, the guy that owns it is a legit billionaire. This is the guy that owns Desiland in Orlando, that mall.
Okay.
It's his. And he has 4 others. So I told him, I said, why doesn't he just use one of them? Well, he wanted another one. And then in between the day it took me to rebuild the carburetor, he bought another one, a 93. I'm like, what? Anyway, Mike
Why
says,
does
"Hey,
he
you know,
want these cars?
I don't know. The guy can have anything he wants." But I sent him a picture of that giant cigar I was smoking.
Yeah.
And he goes, I sent that to Dez. I'm like, what did you do that for? He goes, he loves seeing stuff like that, pictures like that. I'm like, all right. I said, I should show him my bench filled with carburetor parts. But he says, no, he goes, he gets a hold of you. He's going to want you going down there to work for him. I said, well, listen, I work for you. He goes, yeah, but when you retire, when you leave, I said, hey, it could be just a short drive over to Florida. I said, it's right in Orlando. I said, you mean I'm going to have to get a condo? I'm going to have to buy a condo. So he goes, he'll take you for a week every month and he'll pay you well just to work on his stuff for a week a month.
That's awesome.
That's not bad. I said, I'm going to have to get, and my daughter's like, yeah, get a condo in Orlando. That'd be great. I'm like, no, I'm going to get one in Plant City. And she's like, where? I'm like, don't worry. You'll find out when we get there. I said, I got to go when we know somebody.
Yeah. We got condos here.
Yeah. It's not that far, right?
No, it's maybe 40 minutes tops.
Okay.
You sound like my mother-in-law, John.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
My mother-in-law lives in Jacksonville, and when you ask her something, it's always 40 minutes. How long does it take to Miami? 40 minutes.
I do the Orlando drive all the time.
Yeah. Well, she
You gotta realize, see, I'm not far from Orlando.
She lives in Jacksonville, and when you ask her how far is Daytona, and she says 40 minutes, it's not really.
It'd be 4 hours.
No, from Jacksonville to Daytona. Well, if you went down 95,
that's a hike.
It's an hour.
Really, just an hour?
Yeah,
it's not that far.
I thought it was more than that.
But
straight
this
down
is back
95.
This is back in Florida, with Florida traffic, and they're always everything's torn up. Every time I'm in Florida, something's being construction, and
the east side of Orlando on I-4.
Yeah,
major construction.
Yeah,
horrible. But if you're only going as far as Disney and SeaWorld, it's golden.
And then she
it depends on the time of day.
And well, that's what I'm saying. But everything was 40 minutes, and you're like, this isn't 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I get right to the heart of Orlando in 40 minutes.
It's like, hey, how far is Miami? 40 minutes. Yeah, 12-hour drive. You know what I'm saying?
4.5 hours, 5 hours. Yeah. And you know why? It's because of the way the roads are built in Florida. You have to go north to go south. You have to go east to go west.
How do they do that?
Everything's built diagonally around here. Nothing's straight.
Wow.
Yeah, you're always. It always seems like you're driving like you said.
Like for me, if I have to go to Fort Myers, which is going all the way down on the West Coast, okay, from where I live, I have to go north about 5 miles to I-4. Then I have to go west about 8 miles to I-75. Then I got to take I-75 for an hour and a half south. But I-75 doesn't just go south. It goes south, then it goes east, then it goes south, then it goes west, then it goes south again.
Who the hell designed the roads? Drunks?
Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
I-4. They say I-4 is east-west. Go look on a map and look at I-4. Well, I-4 goes from Tampa. It runs diagonally up to Daytona.
That was been my complaint for years.
Northeast the whole way.
That's been my complaint for years about 109. To me, 109 is an east-west road, but they say it's a north-south road.
Right.
Like what? It goes from Sunrise Highway up to Hempstead Turnpike. That's east. That's north-south. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's north-south. Right. They say it goes east-west. I'm like, I don't know, whoever. Hey, I found something in North Carolina. I found the Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway's equivalent. The Seaford Oyster Bay was supposed to go, of course, from Seaford
all the way to Connecticut.
And they ended it at Jericho Turnpike, where it just ends, and you have to get off Jericho going east.
Right by that movie theater that at one point, I don't know if it still is, had 70 millimeter.
It used to be there, right? That's why I saw Animal House there.
Yeah. I saw that movie Tommy
Oh yeah.
I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great movie theater.
But we're on I-40. I think going. I forget which direction it goes. Anyway, we went in one of the directions, and I'm it's telling me to get off, and there it was. It just dead ended, and you had to. I'm like, hey, it's the Seaford Bay Expressway, but in North Carolina. It's like, holy shit. I wonder what jurisdictional block they had down here.
I don't know. Yeah. Could you imagine if they would have done that deal going to Connecticut like they wanted to?
Yeah.
Now,
Now, my buddy, I got a friend who lives up in the town that's right there. What the hell town is that? East Norwich.
Yeah.
And he took me to the site where the bridge was going to, where the road was going to continue. And he showed me all the houses that blocked it. It was all that NIMBY stuff. Like, no, we don't want that. He goes, just because of these houses, the whole project stopped. I said, but they built it all the way up to here. You think they would have got clearance first? He's not. They were getting clearance as they went along, and they figured they'd just sell it. Nope.
And then what about all of the property north of Jericho Turnpike?
Right. Well, yeah.
Get to the Long Island Sound.
Right. Exactly.
There's a lot of big stuff going on there way back when. I can imagine what it must be now. Because now anybody with money, they'll buy these old houses, they just tear them down, and they build something new.
Oh yeah.
That's the big thing down here in Tampa. You buy a piece of property. Like today, I was on Davis Island, which is kind of city, but it's an island.
Right.
It's where Tampa General Hospital is, and you buy a piece of property and you get rid of the house, and then you put up a McMansion.
See, that's what I like.
People are buying stuff at top dollar,
right?
And they're getting rid of the house that was built in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s.
Well, that's what I like about North Carolina. Down there, they keep the old buildings, and even though it may be empty for a while, they come in and they rehab it. So they'll keep the old brick. They'll put in new doors and windows. So everything doesn't have that aluminum storefront that we see up here. So there's like brick buildings, wood buildings, and they have character and flair. I like that. Like even I know my house. I told my wife, I said, if we sell this place, a contract is probably going to swoop in. I said, it's a 2,500 square foot house on a 9,500 square foot lot. I said, this thing is getting raised, and there's going to be 2 high ranches sitting here.
Sure.
Out of doubt. I said, without a doubt.
That's what they do. That's what they do. That's like, Derek Jeter.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he sold the house yet or not, but
it's huge.
The house that he built, he bought 2 pieces of property that were next to each other under these like fake corporation names, so nobody knew what was going on.
Right.
And then they got the variance and they merged the 2 properties, and he built a 60,000 square foot house.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's fun. Yeah.
It's unreal. I drove right past there today.
Yeah.
Jose the landscaper was out there cutting the grass.
Yeah.
I was in that house. It's spectacular.
I can imagine.
Right before he moved in, when I was supposed to get the job with the fish tank.
Right, I can imagine.
And I was amazed at that house.
Yeah, it's got to be spectacular.
Oh my God! Oh, he's got like 20-foot ceilings.
Wow.
A lot of heavy dark wood. Marble and granite floors, and the whole building. He used this company that does a lot of commercial construction. Right. So his house is built the way you would build a commercial structure.
That's good.
It's made with I-beams.
Right.
And corrugated decking that they pour the concrete on.
Right.
Then they do your tile work and the whole deal. So it's a commercial structure house.
Kind of wonder why the guy gets tired of something like that and has to sell it.
Well, he moved to Miami because he bought a what is it? A baseball team.
Right.
I think the Marlins. So between the condo he had in New York, this place in Tampa, and then he decided to buy a ball team. So I believe he sold the house in New York, and this one I believe is still for sale. because I know Brady was living in it,
Oh yeah.
renting it from him. So I don't know if it's been sold or not, but it's, the place is spectacular. It's amazing. I pass it on the water every time we take the boat out and we go
Yeah.
to Tampa. You drive right by, We see
Right.
Brady out there a couple times. His wife was out there laying by the pool,
Uh-huh.
working on her tan.
yeah.
It's cool. And the weird part is the whole time Jeter lived there, he had this shitty bow rider boat.
Really?
I'm talking like a 17 or 18-foot boat
Wow.
that probably cost, I don't know, $35,000-$40,000.
Yeah.
And he never could put it on the boat lift squarely. It was
Yeah.
always like this on the lift.
Yeah.
And look at this guy. One of the most famous shortstops in history. He can't even put a boat on a lift.
Right.
You would think there would be something there. Something
Right.
nice. There was a jet ski and
Right.
this like crappy ass boat.
Wow.
Then when Brady moved in, he went and bought a boat. He bought a boat that's like a couple of $1 million.
Right.
And he had that thing, moored over there.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Cool.
So he's gone. He's in Clearwater, living on the Gulf. And his boat's over there now. So now there's nothing but just a lift.
Yeah.
Strange. There's a lot of that. There's a ton of that. I went today to look at new construction.
Right.
Customer wants a tank.
Yeah.
They bought a house that was built in the 50s. They just bulldozed it.
Right.
Building this big 3-story, mansion.
Yeah.
On the lot. On the water. They were doing they're building the house and the guys were out back doing the seawall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had the whole deal. They came in and they how they take this like corrugated steel that interlocks and they like hammer it down into the mud.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And then they suck the water out.
That's right.
So they could actually work.
That's called a cofferdam.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And they just bilge it out back to the water.
Yeah, they bilge it out, they scoop out, whatever mud and crap they got to get rid of, and then they do the seawall, and then they come and they grab that stuff
them
up.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, they pull them apart. Pretty wild.
Yeah. It is. Cool stuff.
Unreal.
All right. I think I'm going to go tether myself to my pillow.
Yeah. I'm beat. I got stuff to do tomorrow.
I gotta get my car inspected. My Impala, this should be the last. It figures this will be the last inspection. The car's 25 years old now, so, but you don't get the safety inspection until it's got to be in the 26th year. It's got to be the next year, right?
Wow.
And the reality is, by this time next year, I may be getting out of here, so I'll never have to do this New York State. I won't be able to get my $10 inspection.
What colors the stickers these years?
These are blue. We got blue ones now.
Blue.
They
still do the square inspection and the rectangular registration sticker.
Same. We had gray stickers, or were they yellow ones, for like 5 years. And I asked one of the guys, he says, yeah, the state, whoever ordered them fucked up. Instead of saying like 100,000, they made it like 1 million. It was like another zero.
God.
So everybody had the same color stickers for a couple of years. The cops couldn't tell by looking at it.
Yeah, that right. That screws up the cops because they just go by the color.
Exactly. So yeah, we got past that though. These new ones now are blue.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Wait, the blue one is on the car now. I think my FJ has a gray one again. They only use a certain amount of colors. They don't really go. I'm thinking, why don't they make some orange and white? They can
I
do
remember orange. Orange.
Back in the 70s, yeah. The registration stickers were orange. I got my old one, an old Reggie sticker in the garage. It's orange with the New York State seal.
Down here, you just get that crappy little sticker with the 3 digits.
Right.
Like all my stuff is 822. Everything's on your birth, which is weird. your Reggie either expires on your birthday,
Really?
or if your truck is a 2500 series or heavier, they expire on December 31st.
Oh wow.
I thought
guess-
it was strange because I buy my truck and the guy hands me the stuff and then I go pick it up, and it's got the sticker on it, says 12.
Right.
Like, why isn't it on my birthday? He goes, because it's a heavy duty truck. I buy a van, same thing.
Right.
But when I had my Toyota Tundra, it expired on my birthday.
Right. Right.
1500 series.
Right.
My wife's Mercedes Benz, it's on her birthday.
Right.
It's kind of odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Who
strange.
knows who makes the rules, right?
Yep.
Crazy.
So
To take a line out of the famous Matco Man's vernacular, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
all right,
Exactly.
time to shrink the screen
Yeah, I just shrunkicated mine.
Yeah.
and time to hit the leave.
All right. So for Lewis Lee's Played in Traffic, Ray Guarino, Chassis John, Matco Man Brian. This is a shorter one tonight, but sign off. We'll see you again next week. You boys.
We're out of here.
Talk to you during the week.
Talk to you Sunday.
All righty. See ya.
Bye.
Take it easy, guys.